Power Rangers Galaxy. Far, far away, deep in space, to a galaxy you'll go. Power Rangers go, Power Rangers go. There lies the key to the answer to the power you will know. Power Rangers go, Power Rangers go, Power Rangers go. Hey, Wolfpack, we are back with another surprise tier list. Yes, we finally made it to a Friday tier list, and once again jumping into the realm of those mighty morphers with my favorite show, Lost Galaxy. So if you haven't watched this channel praise Lost Galaxy before, this is easily my favorite Power Rangers show, and believe me, I know that says a lot. I love Time Force, I love In Space, I love RPM, which I recently got into, but for me, Lost Galaxy is my number one. I did a top 10 video ranking all my favorite episodes. Go watch that if you want to see me talk about the episodes in much better wording, but this is one of my favorites, and now we're going to talk about all the episodes. The good, the bad, and the ugly Stingwingers. Hey Cat, A19 Chris, making sure everything works, basically setting up everything so far, establishing our tier list, got all the episodes. I will warn you, 2-parters or 3-parter episodes will be combined as one. Yeah, we're doing the Time Force rules again. If it's a multi-parter episode, it'll all be under one image. We do have mostly all 40 episodes, 40 plus. Yeah, 41. Okay, so only like 4 to 3 2-parters. Did you already do a stream like this, or this show? We ranked the characters, now we're ranking the episodes. Yeah, I talked about all the Lost Galaxy monsters, characters, the Rangers. A lot of them were really good, honestly. But we're talking about the episodes this time. Yeah, this is now our second Lost Galaxy tier list. And yeah, talk about all their fun adventures this time. So we're judging the episodes, not the characters, not the quality of the show overall. Each an individual epic tale. Yeah, this is our second time doing Lost Galaxy. Yeah, we did the characters last time. This is now the episode tier list. We're ranking the episodes, people. Go Galactic! Hey, Shadowlink, you made it. Love this season of Power Rangers. Me too, it's my favorite. And I know Time Force and In Space are epics too. Not discouraging anyone who likes those shows. I love them too, but for me, Lost Galaxy is my number one. Kinda figured this was your favorite, honestly. Yeah, absolutely. Best Ranger team, best villain team. Trakina is awesome. A lot more good than bad episodes, which is why I'm excited to do this tier list. And yeah, it pretty much set the new standard for Power Rangers. If you don't know, Lost Galaxy began the trend of standalone Power Ranger seasons. This meant one group of Rangers and one whole story arc per season. Each new Power Ranger season moving forward would be its own thing and have its own simple story arc. Yeah, we got our own Rangers, their character arcs, and would actually conclude their story rather than carried on like the mistakes of Mighty Morphin and especially Turbo. And yeah, thanks to Lost Galaxy, we got a lot more individual Power Ranger seasons. Without this show, we wouldn't have shows like, you know, Time Force, RPM, Samurai, Mystic Force. Basically, all the Ranger shows moving forward would have their own unique cast. And then Netflix would screw it up, but yeah. And not just because of the Yellow Ranger being on Cabin Fever. I remember Maya from Not Another Teen Movie. Highly recommend it if you love the Yellow Ranger. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Course, if you couldn't tell, In Space is my favorite Power Ranger series. I remember Shadow, I saw your comment on our Ninja Turtles crossover. Sorry I started that show on such a bad note, but I wanted to talk about it just for the Turtles. But yeah, In Space is epic. I love In Space. Countdown to Destruction is still one of the best finales. Next to End of Time, my brother Wolf has really gotten into Time Force lately. Wolf sadly didn't want to join us this time. Lost Galaxy was not one of Wolf's favorites. Yet Wolf is a diehard In Space fan. But yeah, In Space is great. Love both the Yellow Ranger and Trakina, definitely waifu material, absolutely. Maya and Trakina are perfect. I also do think Kendrix is pretty attractive, and let's not forget, Astronema joins this season later. Yeah, Melody Perkins is also really beautiful. I know we all wanted Cassie to become the replacement Pink, but Crone honestly did a pretty good job. Hey Cat, hey Light Jones. Lightspeed Rescue is the best Red Ranger. Yeah, Carter Grayson. Even though This isn't that. Yeah, sorry, next time. I want to do Lightspeed Rescue episodes with Wolf, but Wolf was too busy right now. Work on those future videos for you. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy is also my favorite Power Ranger series, and no, Time Force is not better. I agree with you, Light Jones. I do agree. I love Time Force. Time Force is epic. It's honestly my second favorite. I also do like Lightspeed Rescue, even that's one of the quote-unquote mixed seasons. It is looking much better now compared to Operation Overdrive and especially Ninja Steel. I mean, there's always a top 10 to talk positive about in space in the future. Yeah, absolutely. Though the Psycho Rangers might take over that list. But anyways, we're talking about Lost Galaxy. Got all the episodes, multi-part episodes, like ones that actually have like a part 1, part 2, or even part 3 at the end, are combined into one image. I'll be ranking them all on this tier list from top best to bottom worst. So let me go over the basic rules if this is your first tier list ever, or if you want to see what fun categories we have. Up top, we have Galactic. These ones, epic, masterpiece, perfect 10 out of 10s, maybe even 11 out of 10s because Lost Galaxy is that awesome. The gold standard. These ones, I love them, you love them, the fan base loves them. They are quality episodes from the show and ones I easily recommend. They are going galactic. Then underneath that in A tier, we have Ranger Radical. These ones are good, not perfect. They're pretty decent entries, they're fun. I would still probably give them a gold icon or gold medal for being a fun episode. Definitely delightful, entertaining. Might have a flaw or two here and there. We might be seeing a few down here, but definitely ones I would still recommend and do their purpose. They are Ranger Radical. Then right smack in the middle, we have Magna Meter. Yeah, I know, I really thought that one through, huh? These ones, okay. They're fine, they're adequate, they're average. They're right smack in the middle. Not good enough to be one of the best entries, but also not one of the worst things ever. They're an alright episode. We might be seeing one or two down here, but they're definitely a meh episode. Underneath that, we have Turn Up the Power. These ones need more improvement. They're Bronze Skull territories. They're below average, the lame ducks, the lesser episodes. Honestly, this might be the one we see for the most worst episodes, because, again, Lost Galaxy is great, but definitely needed improvement. Definitely a flawed episode, a really messy entry, and I think we might be seeing a few of the early episodes down here. Lost Galaxy definitely took its time finding its footing, finding its groove, finding its own identity, and clearly struggled in the beginning, but once the Magna Defender showed up, it definitely improved. But yeah, these are the episodes that needed an extra spark, a power boost to be great, but ended up below average, a weak episode. Then at rock bottom, we have Dead Bug. These ones, awful, total losers. 0 out of 10s, the worst of the worst. Do not recommend them, do not watch them. These ones are plain bad, but honestly we might not see too many down here. Might find 1 or 2 bad episodes, but we'll see. Anyways, F. They are bad, terrible. They're a dead bug, like a fallen Stingwinger. Dead Bug. Get it? Because Lost Galaxy was Starship Trooper Power Rangers. I mean, yeah, okay, read that one. Of course, it really sucks how the Furio suit was so restrictive that it kicks whenever he's only effective thing in a fight. Yeah, definitely had a lot of fun with those suits, and some definitely did not move well. But that's Power Rangers for you. Okay, so we have every episode here, 40 plus episodes. Again, multi-parters are combined under one image, but Lost Galaxy is a pretty fantastic show. For those of you who don't know, this one was supposed to take place in the not-too-distant future, where humanity has evolved. It's now kind of Star Trek times. Earth has become overpopulated, so a new science experiment is under development called TerraVenture. This is going to help people leave to deep space, to a lost galaxy, to expand the human race colonizing new planets. Leo, our Red Ranger, seeks to join this group. They're heading off into space, carrying off the in-space theme because the last show was so successful. But TerraVenture is heading out only to be attacked by Emperor Scorpius and Trakina, the main villains of this series, who seek to invade them and often cross paths with the Power Rangers in their attempts to conquer the universe. This one, definitely a full-blown space series. Again, very Star Trek and especially Star Wars inspired. They completely embrace the space theme, and that's what I really like about it. It feels very mystical, very magical, kind of like an old-fashioned Star Wars Legends tale, but takes a lot of inspiration from Star Trek too, namely, Terra Venture is clearly like an Enterprise Federation ship. It's this huge, mega, kind of Star Destroyer-sized ship, full of entire cities, environments, and colonies. They want to spread out and colonize a new planet, expanding humanity, but of course they bump into basically aliens. Those are the threats this season. A lot of aliens, a lot of space monsters, a lot of cosmic horrors, and it led to a ton of fun adventures. The main 5 Rangers, I really love them all. This is my favorite Ranger team. Again, another point in Lost Galaxy's favor. All the Rangers are pretty interesting. They all have fascinating character arcs, all have their own unique personalities, and even a ton of spotlight episodes, as you'll see here. Yeah, and mind you, this came out before Elysium with the overpopulation theme. Yeah. Also, fun fact, the Starship Troopers armor is in the series, especially with the opening. Yeah, I do love that. And how funny is it that this Power Ranger show, which recycled a lot of props from Starship Troopers, actually had bugs as the enemies? That was kind of funny. Yeah, Scorpius and Trakina and easily the Stingwingers are all insect themed. I was kind of hoping we would get more insect themed aliens this series because insects are pretty creepy, and Scorpius being a giant bug leading a bunch of other bugs makes sense. But no, they kind of mixed it up because the Sentai footage did that. No doubt there's some kind of weird episodes that were kind of outright filler, but there were ones that were just a breath of fresh air, like basically the Aliens parody. Yeah, I love that episode. So I hope you guys don't mind I have Wikipedia on here to refresh my memory on a few episodes, because as great as I am, I can't remember every single detail. Well, the Terra Venture was a huge chunk of Earth that was taken from the planet, and main objective was to find a new planet to live on because apparently the result of the previous Power Rangers. Yeah, because we find out it's a bigger galaxy out there, and Earth was kind of wrecked after Astronema's invasion, though they imply there was a huge time skip. Unfortunately, the one negative thing about Time Force is they kind of retconned this. Yeah, now Lost Galaxy takes place in modern day. Yeah, I don't buy it either. Yeah, it's clearly set up this is supposed to be like in the distant future, like 2025 was for SPD, but what are you gonna do? Retconning came along and nope, now it was just the late 90s. I know, I'm waiting for our giant Star Destroyer colonizing ship too. The last series that convinced Earth was no longer a safe place for humankind, and that didn't age well. Heck, they actually meet even more powerful beings on the way during the whole time. Yeah, so they do clarify that after the Z-Wave happened and Zordon killed all the iconic villains, a lot of new villains had to enter the picture, and Trakina and Scorpius were from a lost galaxy. They were from the dark regions of space, and that's kind of why they were not hit by the Z-Wave. I do like that they kind of have an explanation as to why the Z-Wave didn't kill everyone. The demons were sealed away, Ranzik was from the future, and Trakina and Scorpius were just out of the Z-Wave's limit. We never asked, have you played any Power Ranger games? I did play that Power Rangers Legacy Wars on my phone. If you saw some of my Ranger videos, I do use clips of that. Never bought the Psycho Green, though. Of course, I played as all the characters I like Vipra, Trakina, Zen Aku. They were pretty fun. But Rita's Rewind is no longer available on the Xbox store. I have no idea why. I heard a lot of people really liked it. But yeah, answer your question, have not played too many Power Ranger video games. I was too young to have a game system back when I watched most of these classics, and then by the time I grew up, I thought it was kind of too old for Power Rangers. Played the Legacy Wars because that was available on the phone, and it was like every Ranger generation ever, so of course that sounds fun. Unfortunately, I think they did kind of delist that game as well. So strange how Scorpius dies and he becomes a spider even though he said he had tentacles. Blobfish octopus type monster. Yeah, that was pretty funny. We'll get through that, but yeah. Anyways, Lost Galaxy, basically space adventures. They're going out into space, they bump into aliens, bump into supernatural things, and it leads to a ton of epic ranger adventures, which we will be judging. So let's finally get this tier list underway, starting with where it all began. The Journey Begins. Yeah, I think this is in order, honestly. Yeah, there's Journey's End at the end, and yeah, there's the pilot. All right. First episode, technically the two-parter, of course, going on to Galactic. Yep, the pilot is pretty good. Not gonna lie, I do think there are much stronger Power Ranger pilots out there, but this one honestly did its job. It did it very well. We get a basic introduction to our Ranger team, to the scenarios, to what's going on here. The planet Miranoi is attacked, invaded by Scorpius's forces, led by Furio. Yeah, remember him, he's our quote-unquote first arc villain. Furio is trying to steal the Quasar Sabers for his master, because they contain the greatest power in the universe. So he attacks Miranoi, leading to the introduction of our heroes. TerraVenture is finally finished under construction, and is about to take off, where we meet all the Rangers and Bulk and Professor Phenomenon. Yeah, remember when they were a part of the cast too? Alright, so I do agree with some people saying in the chat that Bulk and Professor Phenomena were kind of useless this season. It was fun seeing them, and they do have their funny moments, of course, but I think it was pretty clear we could have let these characters go finally, especially since In Space had a satisfying finale. But yeah, we see Bulk and Professor Phenomenon buy tickets to TerraVenture, followed up by our Red Ranger, Leo. Leo is unfortunately denied access. He does not get to join this big epic adventure, and we meet basically all the other Rangers. We meet Kai, the stuck-up security guard. We meet Kendrix, the cop with a heart of gold. We see Maya on planet Miranoi run away from the Stingwingers, leading to her crossing paths with the others. And Damon gets introduced in part 2. He's actually the chief engineer of TerraVenture, but he's working part-time on Astro Megaship. Yeah, remember the In Space flagship? Astro Megaship has been converted into a museum remembering the Power Rangers. Again, it feels like this was definitely a huge time skip after In Space, but yeah. Astro Megaship is decommissioned, and Alpha and Damon are working together. And we also meet Mike, who is actually cleverly set up as one of our fake-out heroes. We're led to believe Mike is going to be super important to the show, but surprise, he dies. They make it to planet Miranoi because a portal opens up. Maya runs through, chased by a few Stingwingers. Leo actually stows away on board. Leo seeks adventure. He saves an old lady being mugged, saves her ticket, and the old lady basically inspires him to don't give up on being a hero because this galaxy needs men like you. Leo takes her words to heart and decides to stow away on board the Super Star Destroyer. Yeah, honestly, I do really like Leo. Leo is a different type of Red Ranger. This began the trend of the rookie Red Ranger, where the Red leader was not super badass or super smart at the start. He had to earn his powers. Yeah, the Red Ranger had to earn his title, earn his role as leader, and basically shape up into a man. Leo is kind of immature, always getting into trouble, low-key kind of an Anakin Skywalker type of character, thinking with his feelings first, being reckless, but ultimately a good guy at heart. Used to play Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue game back in the day. The Game Boy version? Okay. It was an okay game, but not great, but just okay. Yeah, that describes a lot of Power Ranger video games. Leo is a good Red Ranger. He's no Gary Stu. He's well written. Exactly. That's kind of why I like Leo. Leo is very flawed. He's not perfect, and believe it or not, he's actually not selected to be the Red Ranger. In the pilot, they make it to Miranoi. Maya asks for their help because their people were attacked by the Stingwingers, and she needs some heroes, where a handful of the characters go through the portal. Leo was not supposed to. He gets caught. He hides as like one of the Starship Troopers, gets caught by his brother Mike, but Mike, Kendrix, and Maya go back through the portal. Kai tries to arrest Leo and take him in, only for Leo to jump through the portal, and we do set up a few of the character personas. I mentioned this before, I was actually kind of worried I would not like Kai at first, but part 2 kind of fixed that a little. We see Kai is very much a downer, stick in the mud, a by the book cop, and very cynical, not very friendly at first, up until he starts to care for his friends. I will say it's kind of weird too that it implied that Kai might have had a crush on Kendrix, because Kendrix is clearly giving goo goo eyes towards Leo when they bump into each other. Leo and Kendrix have their meet cute moment, and Kai kind of gets between them. Honestly, that would have been pretty interesting, seeing a love triangle between 3 of the Rangers, but sadly, you guys have to wait till RPM to see that done well. But yeah, Kai decides to go back and save his friends, where he recruits Damon and Alpha. Yeah, we see our buddy Alpha comes back. They recommission Astro Megaship, and once again we have Power Rangers. They go to Miranoi, all unite together, stand up to Furio and his Stingwingers, where, of course, the swords call to them. The Power Rangers get their powers from the Quasar Sabers, these swords in the stone, type of old-fashioned legend. The swords called upon them, and because they were worthy, they finally removed the swords, and they kick the Stingwingers' sorry thorax. Yep, the insects lose, but Furio, out of pure spite, destroys Miranoi. He turns them into stone with that weird Photoshop filter, and Maya loses her entire planet, but Leo also loses his brother. Mike dies, or so we think. But yeah, in the pilot, Mike is clearly out of the picture. Mike dies, but he passes on the sword to Leo, and I did find that very interesting. Leo was not supposed to be the Red Ranger. He was handed the power. It was passed on to him. Mike falls to his quote-unquote death, but we'll get to that later. Mike is out of the picture, and Leo becomes the Red Ranger. Leading to the start of their journey, they are now Power Rangers, and Leo declares that he will avenge his brother Mike, where we learn that Furio is actually working for Scorpius at the end, and that this war has only just begun. But yeah, Journey's End, pretty kick-ass, of course it is. Leo had a tough act to follow in regards to Red Rangers, but passed with flying colors. Absolutely. Yeah, Andros was also an S-tier Red Ranger, my brother Wolf's favorite Red, and yeah, Andros was one of the greatest Red Rangers of all time. Leo, I do like that they showed he had to earn his Red Ranger mantle. He was not the S-tier soldier Andros was at the start of his pilot. Leo is basically undergoing his coming-of-age story. Pretty much all the Rangers are. This is a coming-of-age mature story. Yeah, the Rangers are basically full-grown adults in this show, which I do really love. I love adult Power Rangers because it kind of makes them more compelling, since we did pretty much every story you could with the teenagers with attitude thing. But yeah, we have adult Power Rangers basically growing up, becoming more hardened, becoming badass Power Rangers on their own, and unlike past iterations, they do not have a mentor figure. Yeah, this is like one of the rare Power Ranger shows where they don't have a mentor. Maya kind of acts as their mentor. She talks about the Galactabeasts and the powers of the Quasars. Maya, I do like, is kind of our mentor figure. It made her a lot more interesting compared to, well, basically later Yellow Rangers, like, trying to remember name, Kelsey. Yeah, Kelsey didn't have as much persona as Maya did, but yeah, the Rangers begin their journey in this episode, and yeah, pretty epic. Do really like it. The pilot holds up. It is galactic. It actually has been said behind the scenes that the reason why Furio couldn't turn Terra Venture into stone as well is because it didn't have the same core as a regular planet. It had an artificial one. Okay, that does kind of make sense. Not the Game Boy one, the PlayStation 1 version. Okay, Quasar Quest was really good. Start to Lost Galaxy and top 10 Power Ranger pilot series. Or top 10 pilot for a Power Ranger series for sure. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Leo's a great Red Ranger. I do like him. It is pretty interesting going from Andros to Leo. I guess they realized that that Leo had some big shoes to fill because Andros led that huge mark on the saga. No disrespect towards Andros, but I like Leo because he's evolving into the role of Red Ranger. Andros was kind of more so coming down to earth, learning to work with a team, which was also pretty interesting, but Leo pretty much had a lot to live up to, and the show kind of addresses that in the universe, that he's training to become a good Red Ranger. Okay, not the Game Boy one, the PlayStation 1 one. Okay, my mistake. Leo, yep, he definitely had a tough act. Kai literally gets flashbacks of when the captain says, never leave a man behind, but yet that's exactly what happened to all of them when he left them on the moon. Yeah, Kai had a guilty conscience. He does turn back. I did like that because it did show Kai did care about his comrades. Of course, Kai is a good guy deep down, but he's too afraid to break the rules. That was always his biggest weakness. Kai was definitely a stick in the mud for the rules, and slowly but surely learns to overcome that, and the first episode did show that ultimately he did want to be a hero. I do like that Kai and Damon also kind of turn around. They're reluctant heroes at first. They're not as eager as Leo or the Girl Rangers. Kai and Damon are very much happy and content with life up until they become Rangers. And I do like they become much better people once they get the power. Yeah, they do make a cute couple. I do think Kai had feelings for Kendrix, but they kind of abandoned that, and unfortunately they abandoned Leo and Kendrix ending up together, which we'll get to soon. Kind of like Hot Rod from Transformers, the 80s film, given the power. Yeah, exactly that. The Matrix was passed on to Rodimus, whereas the Quasar Saber was passed on to Leo. Alright, so yeah, pilot is pretty good. It is galactic. Alright, next, I have the title here. Sorry, using Wikipedia to cheat. Okay, Race to the Rescue. Okay, this one is the introduction to the Megazords. We have the Galacta-Beasts, and this one I thought was honestly okay. I'm gonna put it onto Ranger Radical. Alright, not gonna lie, this one is a slow-paced story setting up a lot more of the Rangers' arsenal, introducing all those new toys for all you kids or the collectors of awesome. We get the debut of the Galacta Beasts. These are giant animals that, of course, become the Megazords. Once again, I do like Maya. Maya's my favorite Yellow Ranger, and my favorite character on the series. Yeah, I know, Serena Vincent is a perfect 10, but yeah, she was also a pretty compelling character. Maya listens and hears the animals calling, where they venture to a planet where we find out Scorpius and his goons are taking the Galacta Beasts. We see these pretty creepy giant Jurassic Park cages, which are holding animals inside of them. Maya, Damon, and Leo decide to spring a hero's quest to save them. And yeah, if you saw my past video, you know my favorite scene. Wait, where are you going, Maya? That girl's crazy. Yeah, and so are we. Yeah, Leo and Damon pretty much follow Maya. We get to see Maya use her jungle girl powers to fight some stingwingers. Leo and Damon work together to break open cages, and we see the Galacta Beasts. Is this the one that had that weird Elvis-looking alien? I think it might have been. There's like this weird alien Elvis guy. Ooh, I'm gonna destroy you Rangers. And he has got that ridiculous Johnny Bravo hairdo. Definitely like how the Zords are more animal-like. Yeah, Galaxy did the Wild Zord animals technically first before Wild Force. Yeah, so I will give credit. Lost Galaxy did employ the sentient Megazord characters. The Megazords are actually living beings. They're animal friends and companions to the Rangers. Arguably done better than Wild Force's attempts, but yeah, I do like them because they're practical Muppets. We see them in animal form. Eventually, they become robotic in the follow-up, but yeah, Leo uses one and he rides the line and melts that Elvis alien to death. Pretty cool stuff. The Galacta Beasts honestly are pretty cool Megazords. I do like them, though the episode kind of basic for Power Rangers, basically unlocking more powers. That's the only reason why it's down in A tier. I do like a lot of moments from this, but after how huge the Journey Begins was, it definitely felt like a slower filler episode. Still, the Galacta Beasts are pretty cool, pretty wicked. They completely wreck the bad guys. We get, I believe, our first giant fight in this one where they have kaiju fights. They fight like the big Elvis alien, learn to tame the animals, and Kai and Kendrix kind of show up out of nowhere. I know they have Astro Mega Ship, but yeah, they detect that, oh, they were off on this planet, and the Galacta Beasts become their new allies in the end because they saved them. So in turn, they help them save Terra Venture from Scorpius's invasion, leading to a beautiful friendship between Ranger and Megazord. Yeah, this one's pretty awesome. I do like it. It's a decent episode, but heavily outclassed by a lot of later titles. Jurassic Park: The Lost World didn't come out so long ago before the episode aired, actually. That is pretty funny. Kind of reminds me of the anime series Zords with these Megazords. Okay, so Turbo tried to make sentient Megazords. The cars were sentient and communicated with the Rangers. I think Lost Galaxy was a much better second attempt at it. For one, we actually get to know the Galactabeasts. We see they do have a loyalty and friendship with them. Maya and Leo especially love talking to the Megazords, whereas in Turbo the cars were more annoying and of course used for stupid tricks. No, I did not cry when Justin reunited with his Turbo Zord back in the In Space crossover. They tried to make the Megazords feel like characters in this show. I think they did succeed. Not as great as other future Power Ranger shows, but this one was definitely a much better attempt compared to Turbo, where you felt nothing for the stupid cars. He was an Elvis lobster alien. Okay, thank you, Blue Thunder. I remember now. Now it is actually referenced in later episodes that people do die, in later episodes that the people in the Terraventure do get killed by a rooster, or whatever he's called. Yeah, pretty much people die all the time in Power Rangers. They're just inside the building, so you don't see the bloody corpses. Also, this was the first Power Ranger season I watched all the way through. Oh, you picked a good one, Blue Thunder. Really love it. I actually did not grow up with Lost Galaxy. This was a Ranger show I actually got into much, much later. I was not a part of the children who grew up with it. When I was watching Rangers, I remember Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm. Used to have Legos of Ninja Storm. But yeah, I actually got into this Ranger show much later, and man, do I really appreciate it. Justin returning in the In Space episode was still a great moment. Greater than meeting the Next Mutation Turtles, Blue Thunder. Yeah, Justin had one good episode out of 50, okay? Anyways, the Galactabeasts episode, pretty nice. I'll put it on A tier. It is a Ranger Radical episode. Alright, okay, need Wikipedia here. Rookie in Red. Okay, that was the episode name. This one, I do remember. Leo decides to get a job on Terraventure, where he becomes a soldier, working under Kai. Yep, Kai and Leo are working together, and instantly get on each other's nerves. This one I do also really like, but it sets up Leo's character arc and also Kai. So they do address early on that Leo and Kai do not get along. They do not like each other. Leo works under Kai's leadership, becomes one of his personal guards, and instantly screws up at his job. Yeah, Leo is played a lot more for laughs in the first half of this episode. He slacks off at work. He doesn't take anything seriously. He accidentally gets Kai in trouble where he brings food into a do not eat area. Yeah, as cheesy as it was a pretty funny joke. Unfortunately, Leo screws up royally. Halfway in the episode, the monster of the week is an evil arms dealer sent to steal the Quasar sabers, but he breaks into the armory of Terraventure and steals all their weapons. How did he succeed? Because stupid Leo forgot to lock the door. Yeah, Leo screws up royally, and I do like that they do shine a light on both Kai and Leo in this episode. Kai is a bit jealous that people like Leo, is envious on him, is being way too hard on him, kind of taking his rage out on him, whereas Leo realizes that Kai, as big a jerk as he is, does have a point. They do have to follow protocol, they do have to obey the rules, they do have to think about the safety of Terraventure, and Leo's irresponsibility does cause the conflict here. An evil alien steals all their weapons, and Leo realizes it was his screw up and decides to fix his mistakes, where he pulls this scheme to try and fight them. We also get the kind of messy introduction to the super Quasar daggers. Yeah, we see like the little blade things that could turn into weapons. The arms dealer happens to have them on him, but yeah, they end up fighting over it. This one I do kind of like. I might put this one low galactic. It will absolutely be outdone by later episodes, but I do kind of like this one, especially because Leo and Kai became much deeper characters in this one. This is the season with the Charlie Brown costumes. Yeah, yeah it is, but I do like it. I love the helmets, okay? Those helmets are pretty awesome. Is this a season when the Pink Ranger dies. Yes, it is. That comes much later because Valerie Vernon thought she would be sticking around for the entire series. Justin had many great moments. The movie definitely wasn't one of them, Blue Thunder. I actually worded it wrong. I meant that Power Rangers Lost Galaxy is the only series where it's actually referenced by a non-Power Ranger character that lives have been lost on Terra Venture. Okay. I do know people have died on the show. Okay, but yeah, this one has kind of a funny buddy cop kind of vibe to it because Kai and Leo are polar opposites completely. Leo, as you can see in the image here, actually succeeds at taking the Quasar Sabers. He tries to use them as bait in a trap. They fight the arms dealer and Furio, are about to destroy the Quasar Sabers, but Leo comes through and they steal those awesome trans daggers, I believe they're called. They turn them into like their weapons. We see they become guns, they become dual blades. One gets like a slingshot. Leo gets like basically a huge sword from them. Pretty awesome weaponry, I will say. But yeah, Leo finally comes through. He listens to Kai. They work together. They kill the monster. And Leo decides to resign from being a soldier. He realizes he's not cut out for it, and he and Kai kind of troll each other. Kai finally gives him some respect, and Leo gives him respect, but also toys with him. He says, oh, well, I just quit, and you promised you'd do something for me. Pretty funny ending. Yeah, this one honestly is a pretty lighthearted, nice episode, and does show that Leo and Kai are definitely much more well-rounded characters than you would expect from Power Rangers. I do like it. I'll put it on to Galactic. Will you rank Time Force and Wild Force episodes? Oh, you missed it, Blue Thunder. Wolf and I did do Time Force. We did talk about that one a while back. Wild Force, that one has not been done yet. We might do that one. Of course, I'm trying to also do In Space in the future, but yeah, we did do Time Force. Wild Force will be a future one. Used to have those daggers as toys back in the day. Yeah, those were pretty awesome. I do like I believe they were called the trans daggers. They were pretty cool. I especially like Damon's one because it like flipped into like a crossbow gun. Alright, next. Finally, the Megazord transformation. So I got Wikipedia here. Oh no, this is the one with the kid. Oh no. This one. What was it called? Homesick. Oh, we're already at this episode. This is one of the first episodes I did not really care for, mostly because of the A-plot. So, you see this cool, badass Megazord pose here? The Galactabeasts finally unlock their final form in this episode. Unfortunately, they're not the main spotlight focus of this. This annoying little kid is. Yeah, Lost Galaxy also had another Power Ranger story that focused on the cute, adorable little kid character when most of the audience did not care for these. Yeah, this one has the little boy who's stowed away on Terra Venture. He hacks into the engineering room because he wants to turn the ship around because the little boy is homesick and wants to go back to Earth. However, Terra Venture cannot because they simply can't stop this big epic journey just for this one person. And yeah, like a lot of Power Ranger shows, the kid character is kind of irritating. They give a lot of focus and expect you to care for him. He misses his mom. He wants to go back home to his family, back to his life. He thought this would be a fun adventure, but bit off more than he could chew. And this is the actual plot of the episode. They tried to have the boy adapt and assimilate to Terra Venture. We do see a nice side. Damon becomes his, teacher to him. Damon, takes the boy under his wing, has him dress up in that green mechanic suit, and they work together. He shows them that Terra Venture is fun and cool, but the boy is clearly still missing his mom, and this plot should have been resolved in 1 minute. Have the Power Rangers take him back home. Which they don't do, of course, until the last 2 minutes. Yay, filler. Used to have those. Okay, read that one. Yeah, so the most important thing that happens in this episode, as you can see here, the Megazords unlock their Megazord form. They finally become mechanical, they combine into one, and become the Galactic Megazord, which is pretty cool, don't get me wrong. That wins some points, but it's not the actual focus of the episode. Instead, this little boy is the focus of the episode, and it's all about making him feel better, making him cheer up, and the little boy actually saves the day. Yeah, it's another one of those episodes. They do like kind of a Home Alone style climax. They manage to disable Terra Venture, and the villains basically knock everyone out, but the little boy, and the Rangers, of course, happen to be the only ones on Terra Venture who were not incapacitated. Furio and Shrekina are leading an invasion to hijack Terra Venture in order to destroy it. But, haha, the little boy uses his hacking skills to slow them down and be a nuisance to them. Yeah, even by Power Rangers standards, a lot of people did not like these types of episodes. Little boy ends up saving the day, helping the Rangers, and they give him a Medal of Honor. And then this episode ends, honestly, with the resolution that should have happened first second. The Rangers help the little boy return home using their jet jammers to fly him back. I know, we waited half an hour for the obvious solution to finally resolve everything. This one going on, turn up the power. It is kind of irritating that he's stowed away on the ship, but the kid isn't that annoying. Okay, so I do get where they're coming from. The kid wanted adventure, he thought this would be fun, but again, bit off more than he could chew, did not know the huge consequences to doing this, but like, what did you expect? Like, we see on the friggin' posters and commercials for Terra Venture, this is a lifelong trip that they're not coming back from. Terra Venture is heading out into unknown space, billions of light years away, and apparently the boy did not know that when he stowed away on board. I guess he was like hoping for some Star Wars adventures, you know, seeing the Rangers fight aliens, getting into epic escapades, but realized how lonely and sad he truly was. Yeah, the Rangers have a nice heartwarming moment where they return the little boy back home and he reunites with his mom, but man, did this one reek of filler, and honestly the worst kind, the Rangers being buddy-buddy with a little kid. People are just really sick of these type of stories, and unfortunately the Saban era especially kept overdosing on them. Insert meme here, Ryan Reynolds, but why? Guess he learned his hacking skills from that one kid from Carnosaurus 2. Or, you know, John Connor. But yeah, they return the kid back home, happily ever after, and the Rangers get this kick-ass Megazord. Yeah, this one definitely reeked of filler. Did not care for it. I'm putting it on Turn Up the Power. Could have been a nice episode, and honestly, the kid wasn't terrible, but man, did the adventure feel very slow, very boring, and we wasted a kick-ass transformation with the Megazord Galactabeast in favor of focusing on this kid feeling sad. Yeah, this one needed improvement. It's going on Turn Up the Power. Alright, next, I believe... oh no, we're starting the Lights of Orion. Sorry, just reading the episode. I do keep Wikipedia on hand for some of these. Okay, this is the beginning of the Lights of Orion arc. We find out there's this mysterious, super-duper epic power called the Lights of Orion. Scorpius is seeking these powers out because apparently these can help you become a Super Saiyan God Mode threat. And it leads into one of the biggest dragged-out arcs of this series. I have met a lot of people who hate the Lights of Orion arc, and I don't blame them. It does go on for a long while. The Lights of Orion arc isn't resolved until the end of the Magna Defenders arc, which is 1/3 of this show. Now, looking back at it, it's not as bad as some fans claim, but man, did it get annoying every time they brought them up and never resolve it at the end of the episode. The Lights of Orion is one of the most infamous arcs of Lost Galaxy. It's not the worst thing ever, but you will be upset about how much filler there is in between. And of course, we get the villain. Alright. Guess he learned his hacking skill. Alright, that one. Okay, so this is the beginning of the Lights of Orion arc, where they're trying to find the mysterious lights. Allegedly, it's sealed away somewhere out there in the universe, where the Rangers realize Scorpius wants this, and it leads to, honestly, a pretty bizarre plot where Furio and Shrekina try to gaslight Leo by showing that his brother is alive. We get Decoy Mike in this episode, and I will say there are a lot of funny moments in the first part. We get to see the Rangers slowly becoming a team. They don't quite trust each other, and Damon begins his running gag of being the distraction. It's like, we need a decoy. Damon, but I don't want to be the decoy. Come on, do it. You're the best at it. And I swear, I think they were trying to make fun of the black guy always dies cliche, because Damon's always thrown into danger and acts as the bait, but he lures the monsters away to kick their asses. It is pretty funny, but yeah, we get to see Trakeena finally step in the spotlight. Trakeena would become the most important villain in this series, and it's kind of funny looking back at this, how she used to be a background character. Furio and Trakeena work together to find the lights. They have the decoy Mike trick Leo. They almost find it, but find out it was a trap. They find out that the lights are not here, leading to a big epic fight, and we see Leo is still suffering PTSD from losing his brother. Yeah, Mike's death did hit him hard, and he's been angsting about it for a while, but this one brings it back into the full spotlight. Leo is desperate to see his brother again. He wants to know Mike is alive. He is holding out to hope that he's not dead, but this episode kind of toys with his emotions and pulls the rug from under him. Yeah, we get to see Trakeena here. Remember when Trakeena had that weird green armor? I honestly really like this armor, but she looks like more of a praying mantis in her original outfit. Trakeena had like this cool epic green armor with a mantis head. I believe they would recycle this into her final form suit, but yeah, she weirdly had this armor for like 2 episodes, then never again. She's just constantly in her black leather suit. Yeah, we find out Decoy Mike is a monster in disguise, leading to an epic fight between Leo and the monster, and Leo finally unleashes his rage, completely lets loose on this monster in the Megazord fight, then they destroy him for good. Leo is completely butthurt because Mike is still confirmed dead at this point. They did not find the lights of Orion, and Scorpius and Furio begin not seeing eye to eye with each other at this point. Furio is almost killed by Scorpius, but Trakeena helps convince her father that they could still use Furio, leading to Furio owing Trakeena a favor, or so we think. But yeah, Furio and Scorpius are not on good terms anymore after this episode. But the beginning of the Lights of Orion, I will put on to Radical Ranger. It's definitely a decent episode and very interesting. I do like how they're hyping up the Lights of Orion as this cool epic power, but unfortunately we do have to wait a long while to see it, and yeah, I did kind of see the Mike being a live twist being a complete fake out. Yeah, it was kind of funny, but yeah, Mike is still out there. Leo's holding out hope for Mike being out there, which does hint towards his return in a future episode. But this one, definitely a decent episode. I think the Lights of Orion actually began very strongly. Unfortunately, we're going to get to a lot of filler in between, but the first chapter, definitely a radical episode, going on Ranger Radical. Yeah, it made her look like a PG or G-rated species, of which is another major plus, and very risky of them doing stuff like this. Well, I guess they were hoping that the creepy design would outweigh the sexy. Okay, but yeah, Lights of Orion, definitely an okay episode. I'll put it on Ranger Radical. Alright, next, our first Kendricks episode. Yeah, try to remember the title. Double Duty. Of course. Yep, our first Pink Ranger episode, where Kendricks bears a striking resemblance to a famous actress, who, yes, is also Valerie Vernon. Yeah, we have our first filler episode, but honestly, it's a pretty funny one. Kendricks fills the role of an actress when the actress is allegedly injured during the Monster of the Week's attack. Yeah, this one's kind of a funny filler episode, but also a deep dive into Kendricks. So we do get to learn more about the Pink Ranger in this episode. Kendricks is the smart one, but she's also like this badass Marine who's used to her martial arts. She's a kick-ass Power Ranger. She's studying the Galactabeast. She's the one doing the most research on the Lights of Orion. However, a wacky filler adventure happens. The Monster of the Week is hunting down the Lights of Orion on Terra Venture, and for some stupid reason, he believes the lights of Orion are hidden within a normal camera, where he attacks a Hollywood production, and this arrogant diva actress, also played by Valerie Vernon, gets seriously injured. Not really, she's faking it because she wants to skip out of work and have fun, where Kendricks decides to stand in for the actress because they look so much alike, leading to Kendricks hilariously being out of her element. And yeah, this one honestly has a lot of funny moments. Kendricks believes that, oh, I'm not much of an actress. Oh, that's okay, darling. Neither is she. It's kind of funny. Kendricks has to act like a girly girl, has to dress in funny costumes, has to do a lot of romantic comedy scenes, and kind of fumbles it because she's not used to it. I love when the guy tries to hug her, she judo flips him. It's honestly pretty funny. The classic cliche doppelganger episode. Amy still made it work. Yeah, she did. Definitely did. Actually, kind of like the foreshadowing right there where Mike's doppelganger called the Pink Ranger just Pink Ranger, even though Mike would have called her Kendricks by heart. Yeah, that was a pretty nice detail. Literally, the greatest advice I can give to every Power Ranger villain is they should spend more time matching their voices up to their lips. Yeah. Okay, so Valerie Vernon honestly really does carry this episode. She is night and day playing the diva actress and playing Kendricks. Kendricks is nice, kind, compassionate, also pretty tough. She does fight, but the diva actress is a lot more shallow, petty, acts like a Regina George mean girl, but does show she does have a heart deep down where she's impressed by Kendricks carrying on. Kendricks suffers a leg injury during one of her ranger fights, but she still tries to do her acting scenes even though she's clearly in intense pain. I have heard some people don't like rewatching this one because, well, Valerie Vernon trying to act and be dramatic even though she's physically in pain is kind of similar to her real life situation, where, if you don't know, Valerie Vernon suffered leukemia, and she was also struggling while filming her Ranger show. But honestly, I think that kind of made the episode a lot better because it has like a real life subtext to it. Yeah, it's honestly pretty inspirational, and the lesson is easily the highlight of this, where the diva actress asks her, "You're in so much pain. How could you keep going on like this? How could you keep doing this to yourself?" And Kendrick says, "Because I made a promise and I have to keep it. What kind of person would I be if I said I would do something and not do it?" And that's actually a pretty great lesson, especially to teach kids. I mean, do you ever see a lesson like this on current television anymore? I have to be responsible. I have to keep my word, keep my promises. Making a promise is easy, but keeping it is the hard part. And Kendricks honestly is pretty inspirational here. She is working through the pain, records this one scene like 50 times. It's very clear she's in pain, she can barely walk, and she's trying her best to act, saying, "Oh, Bobby, I love you. Bobby, I love you." She keeps like running up a hill. She finally gets the scene right, showing that Kendricks can pull it off and she kept her promise. But the monster attacks, and we do get, of course, a funny moment where the diva actress has a change of heart and becomes nicer. She poses as Kendricks to lure the monster away. We get, of course, a kick-ass scene of the two Valerie Vernons. But the Pink Ranger gets to be the hero of the episode. She gets to kill the camera monster. She saves the day, and she becomes famous. The actress is at an award show, and she actually thanks Kendricks because Kendricks taught her to work hard and keep your promises. And Kendricks is hilariously studying a script again because she still has some acting work to finish. Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty cute episode. Kendricks is one of my favorite Pink Rangers, but I will be putting it on Galactic. We'll put it low. No, it is not the best episode of the series, and you will see a lot better tales come up, but honestly, this episode did really make me appreciate Kendricks a whole lot more, and the fact that it kind of bears a resemblance to Valerie Vernon's real-life situation honestly made it feel a lot more powerful. This one, definitely a good episode. As far as filler goes, I would definitely rewatch this one. It is galactic. That's something I'll give credit to the Lights of Orion arc. While it was a slow burn slog, there's still good moments in these episodes, absolutely. It's a great lesson, making a commitment. Yeah, that kind of made me appreciate Kendrix so much. Yeah, Kendrix is actually an inspiration towards heroes, an inspiration towards children. Yeah, in this day and age, there's so many women who do break their promises. Kendrix is like, well, I have to keep my promise because it's the right thing to do. And as simple as a lesson as that is, it is a very good one. Only show that did this was Barney in the early 2000s with The Princess and the Toad, because the story revolved around a princess making a promise to the Toad that he'd be treated fairly. The monster reminds me of Photo Finish from MLP. Yeah, he kind of did. He had a weird Egyptian design, but also cameras was his gimmick. That guy was pretty weird. Also, his voice did not match that design. But yeah, this one, honestly pretty good. As far as filler episodes go, this one's galactic. Oh boy, are we at we're at another Kai episode. Alright, what was this one titled? The Blue Crush, of course. Kai gains a love interest. Yep, we get a Blue Ranger episode, and of course, it's a schmaltzy rom-com story. Alright, so Kai is trying to get some appreciation at work. He's working double duty, doing his job, and Commander Stanton has like the most biggest dick moment in this. Like, wow, you're working really hard. I see you like coming to work and doing so much for us. And he kind of leads Kai on here. Is like, hey, how would you like to do a special job for me? Babysit my kid. And I remember Wolf and I laughed so hard at this. Yeah, what a dick. He kind of like leads him on and wants Kai to act as a babysitter for free for him. Kai watches Commander Stanton's daughter. This would not be the last time we see her. FYI, the daughter is not the love interest. She's actually a little girl. The little girl likes going to a roller skating rink from Mighty Morphin, where Kai has a meet cute moment with this pretty lady. Yeah, Kai has a girl of the week love interest. Kai falls in love and starts to defrost a bit. Yeah, wise wizard, he was supposed to get sound like a Lord of the Rings character. Should have. They should have got John Noble to play him. Okay, so Kai falls in love with this girl and slowly actually becomes a lot nicer. He is completely in love, completely fawning at her, and Kai wants to ask her out, but dun dun dun, classic misunderstanding plot. Kai sees the girl is with some other guy, and of course, instead of asking her, talking it out, he assumes this guy is her boyfriend. Yeah, Kai undergoes some depression. They fight the monster of the week. The monster nearly harms the girl, nearly harms the boyfriend. Kai ends up saving the guy, but we find out, oh no, this guy was actually her brother. He's getting married. Which, I swear, Lightspeed Rescue did this exact same story arc with Joel and Miss Fairweather, where he assumed Miss Fairweather was falling in love with the scientist guy, but no, it was actually her brother, which kind of made a lot of earlier scenes really weird. No, the guy in Kai's love story is also related to her, but he's getting married to someone else. The girl was talking about a wedding earlier, but it turns out she's a bridesmaid, and she asks Kai out to be her +1, leading to Kai finally getting laid. What's your opinion on the Magna Defender? Because I feel sorry for him when he lost his son. Oh, I love the Magna Defender. He's one of my favorite Six Rangers of all time. If you watch my Six Rangers tier list, Magna Defender was an S tier. I do love him. One of the best characters of the show. But I want to go out and conquer, destroy, have a social life. That is hilarious. But yeah, Kai falls in love with this girl. Honestly, there was kind of this one scene that did make me wish for a different plot route, where Trakina wants to have a life. Trakina wants to go out and have fun, and I thought with my brother Wolf, wouldn't it have been interesting if this girl was actually Trakina? They kind of like set it up that Trakina wants to go out and have fun, then we meet this girl who's out having fun, and she falls in love with Kai. Wouldn't it have been a really crazy twist if the woman was actually Amy Miller, was Trakina, and she realized she had feelings for a Power Ranger. That would have led to a really crazy adventure. But as far as this one goes, I think the Blue Crush is alright. This one might go on our first Magna Met-er. This one's an okay episode. Has Kai showcase a lot more persona and depth and put through this hilarious rom-com style story. I do think it's decent, but could have been improved in some areas. They do the classic cliche misunderstanding where he doesn't talk to her. But yeah, Kai learns to loosen up, becomes a lot more lighthearted, starts dating this girl, and unfortunately he would not call her back, starting with next episode. Sorry, reading some comments. Yeah, John Noble would have been hilarious as Wise Wizard. Same, he's one of my favorites aside from Tyson and Robo Knight. Aw, dude, you love Robo Knights. Understandably so, but hey, could have been the worst with Wild Wild West 1999 ending going from a father to husband, and the look on Kevin Kline says it all. Even the Nostalgia Critic points it out. Yeah, that also was an awful romance. That would have been interesting, having Trakina in disguise, having feelings for one of the Rangers. Yeah, that would have been pretty funny. That's honestly what I thought was gonna happen, because Trakina wants to go out and have fun and party, and we meet this girl who's having fun partying only to fall in love with Kai. It definitely felt like they were setting that up, but no, this girl was a regular civilian on Terra Venture. And spoiler alert, Kai and this girl would not click in any future episodes. She kind of disappeared. That was honestly a problem when the Power Rangers dated civilians. Usually it was like a one and done episode, and then they would move on, have a different romantic partner. Kind of the girl slash guy of the week trope, where they would date this character for like one episode, and then never talk about them ever again in future stories. Yeah, even the Power Rangers did that. Though, I kind of wish Tanya's boyfriend was a one and done, but unfortunately they brought him back and made him a dick. Robo Knight was the best part of Megaforce, only because everything else sucked, Blue Thunder. Trakina in disguise, we'll get to that, yep, very soon. But okay, Blue Crush, it's an okay episode. Honestly, not the worst thing ever. I do think you might have some fun watching it, but compared to other episodes on this list, it is a Magna Met-er. Alright, we finally made it to the Magna Defender. Oh, appropriately named the Magna Defender. Okay. Just catch up on the summary here. This was Furio's last episode. Alright, we meet the Magna Defender, our 6th Ranger, and yep, you bet he's going on to Galactic. Putting him under Journey's End, there is a much better Magna Defender episode that will outdo it, but yeah. We meet the 6th Ranger, the Magna Defender, a mysterious Power Ranger Batman / Punisher who was the former protector of the galaxy. So, this episode kind of has a weak start, namely they kill off Furio in this one. Furio is completely fired by Scorpius. He decides to steal the lights of Orion for himself. He somehow finds them. He fights the Red Ranger in a cave, and unfortunately, in a very blurry, dark fight, Furio ends up dying. He explodes and tries to suicide bomb the Red Ranger to take him with him, only for the Magna Defender to intervene. The Magna Defender rescues Leo in the nick of time, and in a blink and you'll miss it moment, this is where Furio died. Yeah, it was kind of weak, and to this day still kind of pisses me off that we spend so much time with this guy and he dies. The only thing that tells you that he dies is we see his hand fall. His hand falls to the ground lifeless, and that's the end of Furio. But it does lead to the introduction to his much better replacement, Trecheron. Trecheron is really awesome. He's the arch nemesis towards the Magna Defender. The Magna Defender is set up as a mysterious traveling badass who is protecting the lights of Orion. At least the rest of the episode was great. Yeah, it was. Another thing that happens in the episode was Scorpius finally booting Furio, which would have led to a good fight with Leo, but it was anticlimactic. Yeah, I definitely hated that. Introducing the greatest character in Power Rangers history. Yep, Magna Defender, he is awesome. Basically, Magna Defender doesn't reveal too much about himself in this episode. He wants revenge on Scorpius, and he's an aloof ally towards the Rangers. He does believe in fighting for good, wants to kill the villains, but he is very much a cold anti-hero. The Magna Defender does not see the Rangers as friends, especially in his first episode. He does things his own way, does not care about civilian casualties, and is doing whatever it takes to kill the enemy. Kind of a much better version of Alex from Time Force. Yeah, I said it, Blue Thunder, come at me. Like Transformers Beast Wars, it's episodic and one and done routine. Well, they did carry on Black Arachnia's crush on Silverbolt. Yeah, the rest of the episode is pretty great. The opening to this episode is the weakest part. I did not like how they anticlimactically killed Furio. So many episodes building him up, and that's how you wrote him off. But yeah, Furio's dead, and we introduced Tretron, who is a much better second in command. Tretron was pretty awesome. He and the Magna Defender duke it out. We establish their rivals. Magna Defender reveals more of his persona. I believe the next episode introduces Megazord, because there's Torozord. But yeah, this one, pretty fun. Sorry, I catch up on the Wikipedia details. Okay, that was the next episode. Okay. My personal favorite Ranger had his sword as a toy. Yeah, that awesome gunblade thing. That was pretty sick. Magna Defender is now part of the main credits. The Magna Defender is kind of a slow burn story arc too, but much better because he's tied to the Lights of Orion. It's revealed the Magna Defender has the Lights of Orion. He's not using them because the Lights select their champion to fight for them, but he's taking care of them, keeping them out of evil's hands. He saves Leo, kills Furio, and fights Tretron. Scorpius wants those lights no matter what, finding out the Magna Defender is alive. Magna Defender was Scorpius' arch nemesis in the past. We find out in the second episode what their beef is, but yeah, he's introduced, he doesn't become friends with the Rangers, and we have the mystery of who the Magna Defender is and why are the Lights of Orion in his care, leading to a pretty epic story arc, which made the Lights of Orion arc feel much, much better. Yeah, I envy you, 19 Chris. That toy would have been awesome. At the cost of the stupidest death in the series, why did they kill off Furio? My best guess is because they ran out of the Sentai footage, and as someone mentioned prior, the suit was pretty hard to move in. I would have preferred a big epic fight with him, but no. Yeah, the Magna Defender's gunblade was pretty awesome. Very tragic character and feel sorry for him. I do too. The part where I feel sorry for him comes much later, but they want to set him up as pretty much a badass to sell all those Magna Defender toys. Yeah, Tretron was great, but we'll get to other even better generals later. Yeah, we will. I did like Tretron. He actually had kind of a sense of honor, made him very interesting, and he and Trakina kind of had a growing rivalry as their arc went on. The guy really wanted to commit mass genocide on Terra Venture just to get back at Scorpius. Yeah, he did. Why do you want the lights? I have my reasons. And that's as much as you get in this one. But yeah, Magna Defender, pretty awesome, really badass. One of my favorite 6 Rangers ever. If I ever make a top 10 6 Rangers, you can bet he's like in the top 5, maybe top 3. But it is kind of hard because Eric was also awesome. Yeah, I did in fact mention that suit was so restrictive, because the lips couldn't even move when he spoke. Yeah, I imagine that was kind of one of the reasons why. I wish Furio had a more badass send-off. Honestly, he should have been the final boss in this episode, but no, it's some monster of the week. Magna Defender comes in, kicks ass, and he reveals that he has the lights. He is not a friend of the Rangers, but the Rangers aren't giving up hope on him. And yeah, it leads to a really epic arc and made the Lights of Orion storyline much, much better thanks to this guy. I'll put him on to Galactic. Alright, next is a continuation of the Magna Defender storyline. The Sunflower Search. Oh, this is that dumb one where they think the Lights of Orion were in a flower. Okay, so once again, Scorpius dispatches a monster to hunt down the Lights of Orion. This time, another stupid monster believes it's inside a sunflower, because sunflowers need light. Yeah, sure. Okay, so The Magna Defender returns and he reveals Toro Zord, his Megazord. We find out a lot more about the Defender in this episode, namely why he wants to kill Scorpius. We see in a flashback, Magna Defender's home planet was destroyed by Scorpius's empire. We see Scorpius used to be a dark side level galactic overlord who was conquering and destroying planets, one of them belonging to the Defender. Magna Defender lost everyone, but the death that hit him most was his son, Zika, who is this really adorable Magna Defender Jr. I do like that his species apparently actually lives inside these suits. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Are the suits like supposed to be their flesh, or are they like the Quarians? Do they wear the suits like 24/7? But yeah, Zika was taken hostage by Scorpius and killed right in front of him, leading to an epic moment where the Power Rangers had a full-blown child death on screen in the series. So you bet this one's going on to Galactic also. Yeah. The Magna Defender lost everyone, but the death that hit him most was his son, Zika, who was shot by Scorpius right in front of him to send the Defender a message, and Zika's death broke something inside the Defender. It's how he went from this noble knight in shining armor to the more depressing Power Rangers Punisher he is now. Lost everything, lost his family, and he will do whatever it takes to get revenge on Scorpius. We also see Toro Zord, his badass Megazord, a giant mechanical bull, who the Defender can also morph with. Yeah, the Magna Defender becomes a giant himself and a part of the Megazord, and yeah, I do really like that. That was honestly a pretty cool power the first time I saw it, where the Ranger actually becomes a part of the Megazord. They would not do this again until, I think, Mystic Force. Give the show credit that the show actually showed a child death on screen. Yeah, that is honestly impressive. Yeah, a lot of people do not give Lost Galaxy its credit because In Space usually got credit for being the darkest Ranger show. Lost Galaxy had some really dark and mature scenes. We got a child's death on screen for the first time in Lost Galaxy. Now, technically the child was an alien and he's wearing like little Magna Defender armor, but the fact remains, the Magna Defender's son was actually shot on screen. He died in his father's arms, and yeah, he does not come back. The son is actually dead. This episode confirms that the son is gone, and it kind of draws a parallel to Leo losing his brother Mike. Leo will also do anything to avenge his brother's death, but the Magna Defender also lost someone, and it kind of made him into a worse person. The Magna Defender is not evil, but I would say morally gray. Literally, that segment really set the bar for how different this Power Ranger series and these Power Ranger characters are, what they were gonna be. Yeah. Fish Face was just broken. Yeah, that Monster of the Week was pretty cheesy. It may have had a stupid plot, but we really get introduced to easily one of the most broken, most powerful casual villains, Fish Face. Yeah, Fish Face was there. Fish Face was the one holding the Magna Defender's son hostage, and the Defender gets some justice killing one of his son's killers, but of course, he's after Scorpius as the bigger fish. Yeah, Magna Defender is my number one too. Who would win it in a fight? RoboCop or Magna Defender? Or Magna Defender versus Batman? Okay, Magna Defender would easily beat RoboCop. He will crush RoboCop. He has a lot better weapons and honestly much better and faster movements than him. I do think Batman stands a chance combating the Magna Defender, but he won't make it easy. Batman will win, but he'll definitely lose an arm or a leg. Toro Zord, charge! Yeah, really epic Megazord. I think it was said that the suits are they are their flesh. The suits are their flesh, it's just that they're very durable like metal. Okay, so they are supposed to be aliens. Okay, this got kind of weirder because Mike would wear the Magna Defender's skin as like his armor, but whatever, Power Ranger logic. Literally, that segment really... I read that one. The Magna Defender didn't only lose his son, but he was very well the last of his species, and his planet no longer exists. Yeah, his planet is gone. Magna Defender is the last of his kind, like Superman. Unfortunately, the loss of his planet and people kind of made him worse. Insert that meme, Matthew McConaughey. That's a big bowl. Yeah, Torozord is pretty awesome, and also a sentient animal like the Galactabeast, but he's the Magna Defender's own pet, which honestly is pretty cool. How awesome is it having your own pet Megazord? Especially a kaiju-sized one. But yeah, Magna Defender shows off his new powers, his toy arsenal, and helps the Rangers save the day. The villains lose another general, but realize the Magna Defender is now a bigger threat than the Rangers are. And yeah, once again, pretty epic story. Of course, the Magna Defender pretty much carries the Lights of Orion arc from this point on. This one, also pretty galactic episode, made me a lot more interested in the Defender and showed you his dark and tragic backstory. Really set the high standards of Lost Galaxy's quality. Going on galactic. Alright, need to check Wikipedia again. Oh yes, the Silent Sleep. We're on this episode. Finally, another Leo episode. Once again, Scorpius wants the Lights of Orion, dispatches a monster to find them, but this monster has a clever idea. Knock out everyone on Terra Venture with a sleep spell. They fight this evil jellyfish ninja warrior guy who casts dark magic over Terra Venture to make everyone fall asleep. And as you can see here, it makes it entirely covered in darkness on Terra Venture. Everyone is knocked out except for Leo. And this is another huge step in Leo's character arc. Leo becoming a better Red Ranger. So Leo kind of realizes that he is irresponsible. He does have limits. He tries to help Maya out with the livestock by riding a horse, and he completely fumbles it. The horse knocks him off. Leo looks like a fool, but it leads to Leo kind of learning from Maya. Maya tells him, you have to listen to the animals. You have to be patient. And Leo starts to learn and become a better ranger. And just in time too, because all the other rangers get knocked out by this evil jellyfish guy. Like, the jellyfish guy puts everyone under a sleep spell, so it would be easier to conquer Terra Venture. However, the Red Ranger and the Magna Defender are the last two standing, leading to a big epic fight. But Leo undergoes some pretty great character development here. He learns to actually stop, think things through, start to listen to the animals, and Leo masters riding a horse, and the horse morphs with him. I kind of wish they carried this on, but we see that Sentai footage where the horse gets like red armor too, and he has a jousting fight against the ninja jellyfish. It is honestly pretty cool and one of the best action scenes I've seen from Lost Galaxy. It is just so impressive, so creative, and just insanely fun. Leo rides like on horseback fighting the evil jellyfish guy and listens to the animals, follows his heart, and finally defeats this guy all by himself. And for that, I'm putting Silent Sleep also onto S tier. It is a pretty insanely fun episode. Leo is starting to come into his own, becoming a much better hero here. He breaks the spell, frees everyone, and they kill the jellyfish guy when he's normal size and when he's kaiju size. Leo admits to Maya that she was right. He should start listening to the animals, start listening to her, and thinking things through a bit. And Leo and Maya have a nice friendship moment. Chilifish was his name. Okay. So practically the last episode of Aladdin the series. We wouldn't see this again until Samurai with involving horses. Yeah, it's kind of a darn shame because Power Rangers riding armored horses just screams awesome. I really love that fight scene. It's kind of why it's on S tier. But yeah, Leo saves the day all by himself. Oh, okay, alright. So Magna Defender did try to fight him with Torozord, but it wasn't enough. But yeah, this episode, honestly pretty awesome. I do really like it. Leo starts growing up, starts maturing, starts showing he does have the Red Ranger ability. He does show that he is becoming a better Red Ranger, listening to his friends, thinking things out, and not being such a reckless rookie. Leo manages to save his friends and kill the monster all by himself when even the Magna Defender couldn't do that. Leo is definitely growing into his own here, so this one, going galactic. Alright, next, is this the episode? I think it is. Yes, it is. We're on the Maya and Kendrix episode. Finally, we're coming to the end of the Lights of Orion arc. The Lights of Orion are still hidden, and they believe they're on Terra Venture. Scorpius dispatches this really shrill voice samurai guy to attack, but this has the plot everyone loves. The friendship fallout between Maya and Kendrix. Yes, this is the episode where Maya eats Damon's birthday cake, which Kendrix worked really hard on, leading to the Pink and Yellow Ranger fighting each other. And yeah, this is one of my favorite plots, this one going on to Galactic also. Yeah, the Pink Ranger and Yellow Ranger easily carry this episode, so it's Damon's birthday, leading to Kendrix making him a birthday cake to celebrate. However, Maya accidentally takes the cake and eats it. Maya is very hungry, finds out that they have no food except for this juicy looking cake, and Maya eats it behind Kendrix's back. Kendrix walks into their room and is super pissed. So, as much as I love Maya, she is clearly the one in the wrong here. She stole Kendrix's cake, and it leads to the Girl Rangers fighting. And one of the funniest moments where Leo and Kai listen in on the sexy cat fight that's about to commence. I'm amazed Power Rangers pulled a joke like that, but it is so funny and so worth it. Serena was hysterically funny in this one. This is the episode with Maya's cake face. Yeah, Serena Vincent covered her face completely in cake. I love that she's just waving, smiling all happily to Kendrix when she walks in. Yeah, Maya eats the cake, and the two have a friendship fallout. This is an episode spotlighting the Girl Rangers. Maya and Kendrix break their friendship because of this. Maya doesn't understand what she did was wrong, and Kendrix is rightfully pissed. Yeah, I love Maya, but yeah, Kendrix was definitely right to be upset. She worked really hard on that, and we find out Maya's people do not celebrate birthdays. This reminds you that she is an alien. She doesn't understand human culture, doesn't understand our ways. She doesn't understand that she ate a birthday cake. And the two Rangers pretty much fight and are in bitch mode throughout the entire episode. It is pretty funny. I do like these episodes where the Girl Rangers have a friendship fallout. Usually because the actresses can actually be funny here. Yeah, Maya was eating that cake. She really liked it. Yeah, so the two are fighting. They break apart. I do love that Kai and Leo are both listening in on their fight. They do kind of get their comeuppance where Kendrix throws the cake at them. But yeah, they go to the grocery store, are on bad terms. However, the evil monster of the week, this evil samurai, puts a giant dome over a part of Terra Venture. Yep, they pulled a Simpsons movie before the movie did. He puts a giant dome over a fraction of Terra Venture to try and find the Lights of Orion and keep the Magna Defender out, because he believes he's found their location. But, haha, the two Girl Rangers who hate each other were trapped inside, leading to them slowly reworking their way back into being friends, while combating this monster. Yeah, they're both grocery shopping. They try working together to fight the monster of the week, but are not in unison together. Their bad mood is definitely interfering with their ranger duties. Maya and Kendrix fight, they lose, and we do see for the first time blood in this show. Maya has a huge scratch on her cheek, and Kendrix tries treating her. That's the first time I've ever seen blood and wounds on a Power Ranger. Kind of impressive, but yeah, it's not too huge, but she has a bloody scratch over her cheek, kind of like Catwoman. But yeah, Maya gets treated, and they decide, they're going their separate ways to defeat the monster on their own. Maya and Kendrix don't trust each other. The guys are trying to break the glass dome. Magna Defender shows up, brings Torozor to try and break it. The guys have to hold the Magna Defender off because he might endanger the civilians, including their friends. But the girls undergo their coming of age journey where they realize that they were both kind of mean towards each other. Kendrix realizes that she shouldn't have tossed away her friendship with Maya just like that, whereas Maya sees that, oh, what she did was wrong. She sees like a birthday store with a bunch of cakes and realizes that's why Kendrix was mad at me. It was a birthday cake. I ruined what she made for her friend's birthday. And I do like this moment where Kendrick saves these two little girls because the dome is slowly taking away their oxygen. They don't have enough oxygen to breathe, and some people are falling over. Kendrick saves these two little girls, and these two girls happen to look like little versions of Maya and Kendrix. It is so cheesy, but also so funny. Yeah, there's a little blonde girl with glasses who looks like Kendrix, and a little girl who looks like Maya, has like her wavy hair and a yellow shirt, and it is like just the most obvious symbolism, and I love their interaction. You two came here all by yourselves? We're not alone. We have each other. And the two are like holding hands, making Kendrix realize, oh, she should have cherished her best friend more. And it's just so on the nose, but that's what kind of makes it so funny. Yeah, Kendrix realizes she shouldn't have given up on her best friend just like that, and Maya apologizes for being wrong, where the two girls unite and finally kick ass. They defeat the evil samurai guy, but amazingly he doesn't die in this episode. He becomes a villain in the next one. But yeah, Maya and Kendrix are best friends, and they realize the Lights of Orion are finally close. Hey, happy 30th anniversary to the Pokemon series. Hey, happy birthday, Pikachu. She's practically the Starfire of the group, but the Yellow Ranger. Really? Starfire? Yeah, I wouldn't say Kendrix is Raven, but yeah. Yeah, Maya, they do kind of remind you, Maya is an alien, which got me kind of curious. If her people don't celebrate birthdays on Miranoi, does that mean Maya, like, might be over 100 years old or something? That would be pretty interesting, that Maya's people don't celebrate birthdays because they live very long lives, and Maya could potentially be like 100 to 10,000 years old, like an Edenian. But yeah, her people don't celebrate it, which is why she was confused over the birthday cake fiasco. But Maya and Kendrix become besties again, leading to the best friendship in Power Rangers. I do really like them together. This episode is fun. The Girl Rangers are amazingly the best characters in this one, proving that all the Rangers could stand on their own as characters, and finally giving you hope that the Lights of Orion arc was about to conclude soon. How are you, Cat and Wolf? Wolf isn't here, it's me, Cat, and I am fine, thank you for asking. Trying to stay cool because it's really hot in my area, we got a heat wave, but yeah, I'm decided to have fun doing my Lost Galaxy episodes. Today is also the 7th anniversary of Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. Still haven't seen that one, I think my brother Wolf did. Makes a lot of sense, though I'm sure, and their tribe, they're just happy to live another day. They are very peaceful people. Yeah, they are. But yeah, I just think Maya's people might be kind of magical, have like a supernatural life expectancy. Like, Maya could be like over 100 years old for all we know. We do see like that their village only has one old man who's their tribal leader, suggesting that he's like lived the longest, which is why he's the leader. But yeah, it was pretty interesting as an episode. Love Maya and Kendrix, and I do love their friendship fallout episode. It was almost as good as Cassie and Ashley's fight during the Psycho Rangers arc. I would definitely compare it to that. But yeah, this one, S tier, it is fun, going galactic. Here's some fun fact about the Power Rangers. The monster Cyclopter from Lightspeed Rescue name was reused from the villain from Saban Masked Rider. Oh, that is pretty interesting. Yeah, Maya eating the cake is definitely one of the funniest plots. This one going galactic. Alright, next is Orion Returned. Yes, this is it. Okay, his name was Destruxo. This is it, folks. We made it to the end of the stupid Lights of Orion arc. Finally, Orion Rising. As you can see here, the Rangers get a power-up. They finally locate the Lights of Orion. Magna Defender has them in this weird lockbox that he hid somewhere in a forest. The reason why the monsters have been attacking Terra Venture is because Magna Defender has been going there a lot, which is why they keep picking up the Lights of Orion on their scanner here. Magna Defender is guarding the Lights of Orion, and he has his box here, but finally we get to the ultimate clash between the two generals, Trakina and... Sorry, I almost forgot his name, Trecheron. Trakina and Trecheron finally butt heads in this episode. Trecheron kind of snitched out on Trakina because he took her to a battlefield when he wasn't supposed to in order to avoid Scorpius's wrath. He pretty much snitched on Trakina, said that, oh, she followed me, she threatened me not to take her, and threw her completely under the bus. Scorpius forgives Trecheron and allows him in, but unfortunately Trakina did not forgive him. Trakina was pissed, leading to her trying to frame Trecheron as a traitor. Trecheron's monster, Destruxo, the evil samurai guy, returns in this episode, and she plays this elaborate trap to make Trecheron look like an evil villain because she felt slighted by him. Destruxo steals the Lights of Orion for himself, becoming the most OP monster of the week ever. The evil samurai guy gets the Lights of Orion and goes on a rampage where Trakina frames Trecheron as betraying Scorpius because, oh see daddy, his minion stole the Lights of Orion for himself under his orders, and Trecheron is completely framed, thrown under the bus, and fired as head general. However, this doesn't stop Destruxo. Destruxo is going on a rampage, destroying everything with the lights, where the Rangers and the Magna Defender finally get involved, but they keep coming to blows. The Magna Defender wants the lights for himself. The Rangers want to take them away from the monster because they can't let him give them a Scorpius. Linkara as the monster. Oh, goody beads, I was hoping for wealth, power, or something else for helping you out getting this magnificent power, but beads are good so that I can wear them. Take these beads as appreciation for your bravery. I'm sure Scorpius would reward you even more. I wonder if Lothor is hiring. Destruxo, Lights of Orion power costume is very badass. Yeah, I did kind of like Destruxo. He was actually really threatening once he got the lights. We actually see a monster of the week wielding these godlike powers. He almost succeeds in destroying everything, but haha, the Power Rangers come in, despite all odds, kicking butt. Destruxo loses the lights, and we get to finally the ending of the friggin' Lights of Orion arc. The lights choose the Power Rangers. The lights reject Destruxo and go to the Rangers, where if you can't see, they get this gold armor. They're wearing like golden belts, golden boots, and get like tiger claws on the end, and they get much bigger swords. The Lights of Orion are basically this OP one-hit kill. They slay Destruxo after struggling to beat him with the Lights of Orion activate, where they turn into like a living energy, splicing right through him and killing him instantly. Unfortunately, the Magna Defender starts suffering by this point in the arc. The Magna Defender is completely bitter and upset that the Lights of Orion chose the Power Rangers over me, leading to the Magna Defender going through something that will have a lot more impact in the later episodes. But yeah, finally, they got the friggin' Lights of Orion, and now they turn the tide in their favor. Yep, Orion Rising definitely going on galactic. I do like this episode a lot. Yes, after so much filler, so much padding, so many fake outs of, oh, we're getting closer to the Lights of Orion, only to be continued. They finally get the dang powers and the Rangers kick a lot of ass with it. Definitely a satisfying episode. Really like the Lights of Orion powers. They actually do look pretty cool. Gave them a lot more cool toy designs, better weapons, and the Rangers are at their most OP thanks to the lights. The lights kind of are a Deus Ex Machina. They can do anything for the Rangers, but here they make it easier and they finally can easily defeat a lot of monsters, which will lead to a lot more drama come later episodes. But We did it. We got through the Lights of Orion arc and ended on a high note. Go Galactic. You get beads for doing that. I'm sure Scorpius will give you more, like a comb. Destructo, Lights of Orion, power, read that one. And I think Destructo was weakened by poison because I say it's BS how he was able to get the Lights of Orion knocked out of him by Amanda, the Magna Defender. It was all about selling the toys. Yeah, definitely. But the toys do look pretty awesome. Yeah, Orion Rising definitely ended the Lights arc on a high note. It goes Galactic. Speaking of which, the show's about to get better than ever with our next one, Shark Attack. Yeah, I remember this one. Trecheron's Last Stand. So, after Trecheron was framed for a crime he didn't commit, Trecheron very quickly figures it out who framed him. It was Trakeena. He dupes Trakeena into this elaborate trap where he says, oh, you might find the Silver Cup, this super duper power-up that would make you unstoppable. Trakeena completely falls for this trap, hook, line, and sinker, where Trecheron summons his apprentices, the Shark Brothers. Yeah, spoilers, they're not actual sharks, they're kind of fish samurai looking guys, but yeah, they help spring Trecheron from the brig, and they lay an ambush to get revenge on Trakeena, leading to Trecheron's final stand. They lure Trakeena, the Magna Defender, and the Rangers into this trap, where the Shark Brothers and Trecheron ambush them so he can finally redeem himself in Scorpius's eyes and get revenge on all his enemies in one fatal swoop. And this episode, pretty awesome. Going to put it on Galactic. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I do like it a bit more than Orion Rising, because Trecheron is actually a pretty interesting character. Trecheron has his final stand. Unfortunately, his plan starts to fall apart. Magna Defender almost kills Trakeena. We get hints that there's something wrong with the Magna Defender now. Now with the Lights of Orion no longer in his possession, he falls into a much weaker state, as having like these energy heart attacks, can't complete his job, can't fight anymore. He almost kills Trakeena, but he has like one of these energy attacks and Trakeena gets away. Trecheron almost kills the Magna Defender, but Leo comes in and saves the day, where we get his most epic line, Red Ranger, you stand for everything I hate. Goodness, honor, decency. Love that quote. Magna Defender literally goes through his lockdown from Transformers Age of Extinction phase with trying to look badass. This was the first sign Trakeena was not going to be Divatox 2.0. Absolutely. But yeah, Trecheron has his final stand where he has a final one-on-one samurai duel with Leo, and Leo is absolutely badass. This is one of the episodes that really won me over with this Red Ranger. Leo has a one-on-one duel with Trecheron where he wins. It's a pretty epic fight. Trecheron almost gets the upper hand a few times, but ultimately, Leo gains his power-up, especially thanks to the Lights of Orion, where he kills the Magna Defender's unstoppable archenemy, Trecheron. Trecheron dies, the Shark Brothers try to avenge him, turn giants, big epic fights, and basically the Rangers score a huge victory here. Yeah, Trecheron, who we were led to believe would be a major villain, ends up dying once again before the series is even halfway through. We lose another general. The Rangers master the Lights of Orion power, are starting to come into their own. Leo is evolving into a much better Red Ranger. Magna Defender is unfortunately suffering here, leading to this big looming mystery, which will be followed up with a great episode next time. And we begin Trakeena's character arc. Yeah, in the ending, Trakeena gets some character here. Trakeena basically suffered an embarrassing defeat here. She was nearly killed by everyone. Trecheron almost killed her, the Magna Defender ambushed her and almost killed her, and the Rangers pretty much scared her away completely. Trakeena runs away, she tries to see if she's badass, and actually loses to a fight with the Stingwingers. Yeah, the expendable henchman can even kick her thorax, where Shirkina realizes that she's weak. She's not a great warrior. She has to become stronger or else she will die. Shirkina actually acknowledges that she does have limits here, leading to the beginning of her character arc, her rise into a much stronger threat, which will be followed up in a really great episode coming soon. But yeah, Shirkina starts her chance to become a badass villain here. Tretron is gone, and the Rangers once again get a glorious victory. Shark Attack, pretty awesome episode. Made my honorable mentions on my top 10, go check that out. But yeah, this one, really great, masterpiece, going galactic. The one-on-one fight was definitely the highlight of the episode. Yeah, Leo versus Tretron, that was pretty awesome, and does show you that Leo has come a long way, because he defeats the Magna Defender's archenemy. This guy who went toe-to-toe with the best 6 Ranger loses to the Red Ranger. If that doesn't tell you Leo is a badass, I don't know what will. And yeah, Shirkina starts showing character development, realizing that she is kind of weak. She wants to become stronger, which will lead to a really great episode coming soon. Episode really does highlight the intelligence of Tretron. He was literally able to dissect the Lights of Orion's power of the Red Rangers in a single fight, where you find out they all have to be together. Yeah, Leo literally cheated in his fights. Hey, but it's okay, because he's the good guy. This would also not be the last we see of Tretron. He was one of the resurrected villains in the later episode where all the past villains came back and we recycle Sentai footage. But yeah, this was a pretty awesome ending for this character. I think this one is underrated. It is galactic. Yes, we made it to one of my top 5 favorite episodes, Redemption Day. And yeah, you bet this one is going up on Galactic and easily surpassing the pilot. Redemption Day, the OG Magna Defender's final episode. So we find out what's going on with the Magna Defender. He is, I believe he's like dying. He's losing energy. We find out the Magna Defender has actually absorbed Mike. He's taken Mike's life force to regain a physical form. The Magna Defender gets his big redemption, and it's the end of the 6 Rangers arc. Trying to remember the ship. The Scorpius Stinger is losing power. It needs to gas up. It needs fuel, where Scorpius decides to steal fuel from Terra Venture. Magna Defender finds out that Scorpius' ship is in a weakened state, where he sabotages the fuel line to explode, destroying Scorpius' flagship, but also at the cost of Terra Venture. He tries to overload the power core they're absorbing, and this will blow up, but it will kill everyone. Scorpius dispatches a Monster of the Week to kill the Magna Defender and the Rangers to keep them off their backs while they get the gas, but it leads to the Magna Defender's conclusion. Magna Defender is pretty much at his weakest state. He's losing power, and even Torozord does not help him. Torozord cannot go through with killing all these innocent people and actually abandons him and his plan. Magna Defender kind of self-reflects here, wonders how he got here, what went wrong in his life, seeing the error of his ways. The Rangers show up, try to save him in spite of everything he's doing. They save the Magna Defender, fight off the Monster of the Week, and Magna Defender reveals the truth. He took Leo's brother. Magna Defender actually died a long time ago, back on Miranoi. He had his final fight with Tretron, where he fell into the abyss and thought he was done for. However, everything changed when Lost Galaxy began. Back in the pilot, when Mike fell to his death, the Magna Defender saved him, and took his life force to live again, finally free, finally physically abled, and carried on his crusade against Scorpius. However, he realizes that he's become a monster, a fallen hero, that he's no longer the honorable warrior he once was, and Magna Defender seeks to die, going out in a final blaze of glory. He even asks at one point the Red Ranger to kill him, is like, go ahead, strike me down, you can call it self-defense. That honestly kind of surprised me the first time I heard it. Yeah, hey, Red Ranger, can you help me commit suicide? You can say it was self-defense. But yeah, Magna Defender sees the error of his ways. The Rangers decide that they can't kill him. They respect him too much. The Rangers are everything the Magna Defender used to be. Honorable, noble, and just heroes. And the Magna Defender kind of reflects on that, wonders what his son would think of him now, leading to a really epic climax. So, the Scorpius Stinger manages to take away the fuel and get away. However, the energy's unstable and will destroy Terra Venture, where we get to the big reason why you all love this episode. The Magna Defender sacrifices himself to save the day. Yeah, we get, honestly, the most emotional scene in the entire series. The Magna Defender sees the ghost of his son Zika here. Yeah, here he is holding the flowers. He sees the ghost of his son Zika, thinking what his son would say to him, and he tells him it's not too late. It's never too late to save yourself, to redeem yourself. You can still die a hero. You can save the people of Terra Venture. You have the power. And Magna Defender, moved by his son, sacrifices himself by absorbing the energy to save the day. And it is amazing. This scene is so beautiful, so tragic, so emotionally moving. The Magna Defender is walking into like a fire, slowly melting, getting zapped, and he sees his son one last time holding hands with him and telling him that, yeah, he finally sees the error of his ways. Like, I'm proud of you, father. No, Zika, I am proud of you. You were right. There was still good in me. Thank you, son, for helping show me the way. And yeah, Magna Defender dies, absorbing the energy, sacrificing his life force, and saving billions of lives, going out in a final blaze of glory, redeeming himself. It is awesome. It is epic. Bro, why is Power Rangers so great? This is like one of the greatest things I've ever seen from Power Rangers. It is so deep, so moving, and makes you cry for this action figure character. This is one of the top 10 best Lost Galaxy episodes ever. Go watch my video if you want to see me word it better, but yeah, this was epic. So Magna Defender dies, and we see in his final good deed, he also released Mike. Mike is back, and he reunites with Leo. Bittersweet ending. Terra Venture is safe again, they got Mike back, but at the cost of the Magna Defender, and Scorpius continues living. But yeah, this one, it is a masterpiece. It is like one of the greatest and darkest episodes of the franchise, so you bet it's going on Galactic. Torazord, stop! This is where we part ways, old friend. I must do this mission alone. Yeah, that scene was very sad. I believe that was also a clip in my video. Yeah, it actually made you feel so sad for this guy. OG Magna Defender, he is a legend. I'm so glad he got his great, satisfying finale. Redemption Day is awesome. Read that one. Workout montage. Not at that one yet. Love this episode. Literally made me cry. Reminds me of Darth Vader. Yeah. Where Darth Vader unmasks himself. Yeah, this one, it is great. One of the top 5 best episodes in the series. You bet it's going on Galactic. Magna Defender ended his reign on a high note. Easily out of this world. Speaking of which, we got the follow-up. Remembering the title. Redemption Day. Destined for Greatness. Okay. We get the episode where the Magna Defender gets his replacement, Mike. Mike is finally back, and it does lead to some drama where Leo is unsure if he's worthy to be a Red Ranger. Leo remembers now that he was not selected to become the Red Leader, Mike was, and a lot of Leo's self-loathing and insecurities rise back up now that Mike's back in the picture. Mike returns to Terra Venture alive and well, and Leo is kind of second-guessing himself as a Red Ranger, wondering, should I still continue on as the Ranger, or should I give the Quasar Saber back to Mike because he was the one who earned the blade? Meanwhile, Trakeen and Scorpius dispatch this evil Lovecraftian mirror monster who takes the Rangers and turns them into mini batteries to make evil Rangers. No, this is not the Psycho Rangers. He has like these knockoff ghoul-looking henchmen who become like dark versions of the Rangers and get their colors. Yeah, the four Rangers get abducted and are held hostage, where the brothers are forced to work together for the first time in a long while, where Leo gets his heroic second win, realizes that the Quasar Saber did choose him, that he is worthy as a Red Ranger. Meanwhile, Mike is actually feeling kind of useless because he's not a Ranger anymore, until the Magna Defender's blade comes to him. He will carry on the legacy of the Magna Defender, where Mike becomes the official 6th Ranger. And yeah, this one also going on Galactic. Ooh, might put it under the Tretron fight because that was pretty awesome. But yeah, this episode, also pretty cool. Mike becomes the new Magna Defender. I am sad to say he is not as good as the original guy, but also not too bad. Mike is definitely like your classical hero archetype. He's manly, he's cool, he makes the wise choices, the smart decisions, acts as the sane man among the Rangers, but he was definitely worthy of becoming the Magna Defender. He gets the blade, summons Torozor, gets that cool gunblade blaster, and helps Leo kick ass. The Red Ranger and the Magna Defender are working together and they save their friends, leading to Mike starting his return to greatness. Mike gets his old job back and is now happy because he can serve on Terra Venture again and becomes an official Ranger. Definitely a simple episode, and I do think the OG Magna Defender is much better than him, but not a bad one at all. Definitely a fun one. Leo and Mike get a lot of great character development in this one, and it is definitely a great epilogue to the Magna Defender arc. Definitely a galactic episode. Very good Leo and Mike focused episode. Yeah, but there is one better one, which we'll get to soon. How am I going to explain where I've been? Yeah, that's kind of funny. They never do. Like, Commander Stanton asks him, Mike, where you've been? Well, you see, then somebody interrupts. I heard there are fans who have a theory that Commander Stanton might know that who the Rangers are. Like, he knows Leo, Kendrix, Kai, and Mike are actually Power Rangers, but he's keeping it a secret because he realizes they need to protect their identities. Honestly, it's a pretty interesting theory. I do believe Commander Stanton might know. They do tease it a few times, but they never outright confirm it. It's definitely like one of those fun show theories that fans have. But yeah, I think Stanton definitely knows. He is catching on to them at this point. Mike was like considered dead for 1/3 of the series, but yeah, Mike is back in action, but I do love this episode still. Alright, we'll move on to our next one. Okay, gotta read this. Oh, Stolen Beauty? That's the image they chose? Yeah, really, this is the image they chose for Stolen Beauty, huh? Yeah, Destined for Greatness, Stolen Beauty. I know the rescue mission, alright. This is Stolen Beauty. The episode is a wacky comedy story where Trakina finally enacts her own scheme. Trakina wants to be the hottest woman in the universe, but finds out that she's not. There's a lot of other girls on Terra Venture who are definitely hotter than her, leading to Trakina using her Monster of the Week Crumb Mummy to go to Terra Venture and steal every woman's beauty so she can absorb it into herself, making Trakina the hottest woman in the galaxy. And yeah, this one is going on to Galactic. Yeah, this episode, it's a masterpiece. You know I love it. Stolen Beauty is one of the funniest and greatest things to ever come out of Power Rangers. Yeah, I should have had Amy Miller in that image for the episode. Yeah, I did not make this tier list, but it should have been Amy Miller with her Tracy disguise. I'm not sure why they chose this one, but whatever. Yeah, making sure. Yeah, it looks like this is in order. Yeah, they should have got a better image, but Stolen Beauty is a masterpiece. I love it. It is funny. It is entertaining. Trakina is at her best, and yes, this is pretty much the look how hot Amy Miller is episode. Amy Miller is so gorgeous. We get to see Trakina outside of her bug armor where she wears that sexy red dress. Kind of looking like a business suit Ada Wong. Amy Miller walks into Terra Venture and all the guys go gaga for her. They're all like drooling, their head, turning their head fast, all simping over Trakina. It is comedy gold. And yeah, Amy Miller looks fine. It's kind of funny. I saw like a YouTube interview with Amy Miller, and man, she still looks pretty hot. This is pretty much the look how hot Amy Miller is episode. Trakina disguises herself as a civilian called Tracy, and pretty much every guy there is simping for her. All the guys are looking at her, even Bulk and Professor Phenomena. I do love the Ranger boys also fanboy for her. Like, Leo, like, immediately stops talking mid-sentence, and Damon hilariously drops his heavy wrench onto Kai's foot, and he barely musters up, ow. All the guys are falling over. We get that weird, like, 80s commercial, like, Trakina's, like, walking around town, and they're, like, flower petals flying in the air as guys follow her, and they play that epic rom-com song. Nah, nah, hey, gonna blow you away, nah, hey. And she's walking around, and it looks like a perfume ad, honestly. I wonder if Amy Miller actually filmed that for a commercial, but they put it into Power Rangers. Yeah, Amy Miller is pretty much a perfect 10 in this episode, walking around looking hot, giving all the guys her bedroom eyes. Got that, if you're watching this, Chris, we did have that moment where she puts on, like, sexy lipstick and throws it where the guys catch it, and the lipstick magically turns into a cockroach. Yeah, she has, like, a lot of bug-themed gimmick in her arsenal. Personal favorite episode of mine? Yeah. I agree with Gilgamax. Trakina went too far with the bombs to destroy Terra Venture and the Megazords. Basically, I think, Villamax redeemed himself after saving the girl's life. Yeah, but that comes in the finale. I get what you're saying. As you said in the top 5, it's peak TV. Honestly, this was a great episode, showing how Mike was actually smart and fooled Trakina from the poison drink when he caught on to what was going on. But you drank it. Yeah, after I switched them, and he throws them, and Trakina ducks, and it hits her monster. I'm melting. Okay, so, believe it or not, Stolen Beauty does have serious elements to it. Mike falls for Tracy so hard that when Maya and Kendrix get attacked by the monster, he actually abandons them to take out Tracy. It's like, but Mike, your friends Kendrix and Maya are hurt. We gotta give them medical treatment. And Mike is pretty much thinking with his dick. He is obsessed with Tracy. But we find out Mike did kind of catch on to Trakina's scheme here. Trakina is like full femme fatale here. There is a point to her going on to Terra Venture. One, after she struts her stuff, her main goal is to seduce and kill the Power Rangers. Starting with the Magna Defender, I do like how they kind of call back to a past episode because the Magna Defender almost killed her, so she's trying to seduce and kill the Magna Defender, believing that Mike is the same guy, but she seduces Mike, tries to kill him multiple times, put poison in his food and drink, and Mike realizes that Trakina was actually the bad guy all along. He pretended to play along, realized that she was using him, and Mike actually hatched a scheme to expose her. Yeah, Mike actually is pretty clever here. He did not fall for her looks as we were led to believe. He realized Tracy was Trakina in disguise, leading to a big epic fight. They all save the day. The guys save the women by breaking the spell over them. Maya and Kendrix have like this weird face paint over them. Along with every other woman, the mummy like absorbed their beauty and their face becomes like mutated. Well, I say mutated, but they're like just wearing like football paint on them. Yeah, they save Maya and Kendrix, they unite, and they kick ass, and we get, honestly, a pretty dark twist ending, where Trakina learns that her father has plans for her. Scorpius builds the cocoon in this episode, and says that, oh, my daughter, this will make you powerful, but you will have to shed your mortal form and beauty in order to become an insect like us, and Trakina has a falling out with Dad where she rejects him and doesn't want to give up looking hot, leading to her running away, starting the Missing Trakina arc. Yeah, don't worry, this doesn't go on too long, but yeah, Trakina, Her shallowness is highlighted in this episode because she loves looking hot. Then, when her looks are threatened, she pretty much bails on Scorpius, dumps her dad and her empire to keep her hotness. Trakina runs away, starting a great story arc coming later. But yeah, Trakina does get away in the end, but the Rangers are more united than ever, and we get a funny joke about how girls need to keep their looks up, where Maya and Kendricks are like putting on makeup. Like, you think it's easy looking this beautiful? Damon thinks they're like infected again. Honestly, pretty funny. The guy humor is definitely top notch in this one. Stolen Beauty, it's a classic. It's a masterpiece. I love it. The episode is beautiful. My reaction is simple. Good grief. If Trakina did the same with me, I would not be fooled. Yeah, I know. Stolen Beauty is a classic, man. It is galactic. It's in my top 3 favorite episodes. I really like it. Yes, a big reason is because of the look how hot Amy Miller is montage. Amy Miller is very pretty, not gonna lie. They definitely were not hesitant to show off her femme fatale side in this one. Definitely peak TV, definitely highly recommend it. Stolen Beauty is great. Speaking of which, we're on our next episode, which is also a classic. Yeah, this is the Aliens parody. The Rescue Mission. Okay, almost forgot the title. Rescue Mission. Yeah, you bet. Going on to S tier. Ooh, I'll put it under Redemption Arc. I do remember it being under it on the top 10. But yep, this is the Rescue Mission. One of the darkest episodes in not just Lost Galaxy, but possibly all of Power Rangers. Mike and Leo have a partner up episode where they go on a rescue mission. They get a distress signal from an alien ship that's being attacked and is in desperate need of rescue. Mike and Leo and a team of Marines investigate it, but find out, honestly, in a very dark twist, everyone here is dead. There's an alien monster on the ship and it murdered the entire crew. They also find the Galactic Book. The Galaxy Book is on this ship. They were trying to take it, and a monster is protecting it. It's like it's precious or something. Kind of like Golem in the Ring. This one is honestly kind of scary. Like, it is played 100% dead seriously, and at times, you almost forget you're watching a Power Rangers episode. We don't even see the Rangers until the climax. Leo and Mike never morph. There's no Red Ranger or Magna Defender fight in this. The monster is also completely unaffiliated with the Scorpius Empire. It is just an alien creature out here killing and eating people. It is really dark. Basically, there is a lot of atmosphere, a lot of high suspense and tension, and a group of Space Marines investigating this completely ruined ship. There's like corpses everywhere, a lot of cobwebs, and we get a lot of build up towards the monster. The monster is kind of this alien xenomorph and predator hybrid. It has a lot more predator in it because of the weird jaws and definitely the buff muscles. This thing is like throwing Marines across the room, but it's some kind of like demonic Spider-Man alien. It's living here on the ship and is holding the Galaxy Book in its web. They make it in. Some of the Marines almost die. Mike and Leo have an intense fight against it without morphing. They're not allowed to morph because they have too many civilians with them and Marines. They don't want to expose their identity. We don't see the Rangers actually appear until the final few minutes where they're clearing the ship. They set it to self-destruct, are trying to get away in time. Again, aliens inspired. They manage to find the Galaxy Book, take it, but the monster is after them. Mike almost dies when the alien tries jumping him, but no, the Rangers come through. Kai and Kendricks are the only Rangers who talk. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Maya and Damon are not in this episode, but we see their stunt doubles in the suits. Yeah, Green and Yellow technically are in this, but we never see Maya or Damon unmorphed. Yeah, Kai and Kendricks are like the only Rangers we get to hear talk. They save the day, kill the evil Xeno Predator, and manage to get the Galaxy Book, leading to another great story arc. And yeah, this episode is great. It is a horror masterpiece and one of the rare Power Ranger episodes that uses Zero Sentai footage. Yeah, there's no footage from Japan. It is all American, and definitely impressive because Power Rangers would get so desperate, obsessively clinging to the Sentai footage. It's honestly kind of cool that they made their own story without any of the Japanese footage. Also very impressed, yeah, that this particular episode is its own American footage throughout and no Sentai footage at all. Yeah, Power Rangers would do a lot more of these, and I wish Power Rangers stuck to their guns and did more episodes like these because they had so much fun and creativity. Love this episode, dark and horror theme too. Yeah, it's Power Rangers in aliens. That's what makes it so awesome. Quite the episodic transition from lighthearted Trakina goodness to the truly, truly scary. Yeah, it is kind of funny. They had a goofy Trakina episode, then followed up with the darkest haunting hour level story you'll ever see in Power Rangers. And now we get a very unique episode when the Galaxy Rangers and crew met Alien. Well, not quite the Xenomorph, but it's still pretty epic. Yeah, it is. This episode, it is very cool. It is definitely a horror-themed episode, and honestly pretty dark even by Power Ranger standards. Yeah, they confirmed this alien thing did kill people. The alien crew that was riding the ship are all dead. They find one of their corpses at one point, and the alien hid the Galaxy book in like the corpse of their skeletal chest. Yeah, like the book is like in one of their rib cages. Really dark stuff. Speaking of Trakina in the game Power Rangers Super Legends in the DS version, you simply fight her original self. As for the console version, you fight her final form. Oh, that's dumb. She should have her final form in both versions. Either that or the monstrous chef dressed in an alien costume from Total Drama Action. Yeah. Yeah, all American footage. That's pretty impressive. Power Rangers shouldn't rely on Sentai footage. That's how Super Megaforce became so bad. Preach to the choir, Shadow, preach. Yeah, Power Rangers should not rely on the Japanese footage for everything, especially because they cooked up some good episodes like this one. That episode reminds me of Stephen King's book and movie The Mist, where the father and people search for the survivors, only to meet with spiders-like creatures and xenomorph vibes too. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the spiders that took over the hardware store and killed all those soldiers. That was pretty creepy. It is kind of like that, though the difference is the webs are not made of acid. Well, there's many factors on why Megaforce sucked, mainly the terrible writing. Yeah. They also tried cramming 2 different Sentai shows into one, but yeah. Anyways, the rescue mission, it is epic. It is a masterpiece. It is one of the highlights of not just Lost Galaxy, but possibly the entire franchise, because it was a Ranger story without any Japanese footage and played unironically dead serious. There's like not one funny moment in this. It is a true terrifying space horror going on galactic. We made it to Deviat's debut. Yep, the Lost Galactabeast. Alright, we made it to the debut of the other Megazords, the other Galactabeasts, the Phoenix one, the Shark one, and I'm trying to remember, it was like an Articuno looking one. Yeah, these are the Lost Galactabeasts. Deviat debuts in this episode as the newest recruit for the Scorpius Empire, and Deviat reveals that he has something that can finally literally squish those Rangers, Galactabeasts. Deviat has abducted and brainwashed 2 Megazords into becoming his minions, and he can use them to destroy Terra Venture and the Rangers. Kendrix is also deciphering the Galaxy book, where she finds out the twist that there are other Megazords, and it's these 2, and this episode is alright. I'm gonna put it onto Radical Ranger. Yeah, I know, some people were upset this one didn't make it on the top 10. I liked it fine. Not one of my favorite episodes, especially coming after both Stolen Beauty and the rescue mission. This one I did like, but it's another toy-based episode where they're saying, oh look, we got a bunch of new characters, we got Deviat here, we got the 2 Galactabeasts, and the Rangers basically get some Megazord upgrades. This time it's a Megazord power-up. It's a two-parter in this episode. I like Maya's subplot because, I am a Maya simp, but Maya is listening to the animals, and for some reason, the Galactabeasts refuse to fight these new Megazords, and it turns out it's because they're their brother and sister Galactabeasts. Maya and Kendrix discover that there are more Megazords out there, and basically they fight Deviant to break his hold over them, try and free the Galactabeast, which of course they succeed at, and Deviant decides to become the Starscream of the team, realizing that he doesn't have to share his power with Scorpius, he should become the true conqueror of the galaxy, leading to Deviant becoming the treacherous second-in-command to the main villain. And yeah, I think this episode is pretty alright. It's not one I often go back to, mostly because there's a lot of focus on the Megazord fights and, of course, all the toy advertisements. Sorry, folks, that is kind of my problem. Not a bad episode, honestly. Pretty entertaining, and Deviant definitely a kick-ass villain. He's a lot more dishonorable, underhanded, and conniving compared to Tretron and Furio. Definitely his own unique brand of villain, and once again, starting another interesting story arc where Deviant wants to take Scorpius out of the picture and become the ultimate villain. Weirdly, they don't address where Trakina is. It's kind of why he hires Deviant, but the Galactabeasts honestly are pretty cool. I do like the shark one more, but weirdly the shark acts as like a hangar bay housing the other two Megazords. I really wanted to see all three in action, but we only get the two. It's like the Phoenix and the other one. I think it was supposed to be a fish or a bird or something. But yeah, the other two Galactabeasts, they're pretty cool. Yeah, everyone can put two and two together. They were the Lost Galactabeasts. Yeah, they withheld on the twist for a long time. This did not need to be a two-parter episode. I can only presume that they ended up with too much footage and needed it to be, but I thought the episode was fine. We all pretty much figured out the big twist. These are more Galactabeasts. Because, yeah, they're giant Megazords. Statoforce, Centaurus, and the Zenith Zords. Okay. I agree with the two things because they should have kept her final form in the DS version. Yeah, they should have. I keep thinking a Lost Galactabeast is a dragon, but that's Damon's. No, Damon has a condor, but unfortunately when it was armored up, it kept looking like a dragon. Between Trakina and the other mother, who do you think is more hotter? Oh, Trakina, easily. Amy Miller is perfection. Also, she doesn't have buttons in her eyes. Did I miss the part about Maya and the cake? Oh, sorry, Anime Night, you did. That episode is on S tier right here, the Orion Rising, I believe. Yeah, that episode did make S tier. Please, please, please tell me I didn't miss it, or I will send a supervillain to attack you so I didn't miss it. Sorry, Anime Night, you did miss it. It's on S tier. I love that subplot of them fighting over the cake. Not only we get a good debut of the memorable General Deviant, but this next following episode introduces the other awesome General, Villamax. Yeah, we'll get to that. Alright, anyways, the new Galactabeast, definitely an interesting episode. Not one of the best in the series, but I think it's alright. We'll put it on to A. It is Ranger Radical. But finally, back to another masterpiece. We get to Trakina's return. What was the episode called? Heir to the Throne, of course. Trakina is back, and she trains under a new master, a new mentor. Trakina runs away to the bar on Onyx from In Space, which, yes, I did love that callback. Trakina has ran away from home, she's in a bad guy bar, and it finally addresses the problem people had with Trakina. She sucks at combat. Trakina is not tough, she's not a badass, and literally loses to a bunch of bums in a bar fight. Yeah, the Power Ranger villain cannot take on a bunch of random thugs at a bar. Trakina gets her hot thorax kicked by these bums, almost dies until she's rescued by Villamax. Yep, we meet Villamax and Kegler, two professional bad guys who offer to teach Trakina the ways of being a great warrior. Villamax saves her and teaches her with that classic Rocky montage where Trakina becomes a badass. And, yep, you bet this one's still going on to Galactic. This one is also a masterpiece episode. Really, really love it. This episode pretty much completely redeemed Trakina as a great villain. The Rangers subplot is a bit simpler. Deviat is luring them into a trap. Deviat is making a power play to assassinate both his enemies. He lies to Scorpius and tells him the Rangers have Trakina, where Scorpius actually steps up into action to take on the Rangers to rescue his daughter. Yeah, we get to see Scorpius actually show a good moment where he cares about his kid and tries to kill the Power Rangers himself. Now, I will warn you, the CGI on Scorpius has not held up, but the fight scenes and practical effects definitely do. Scorpius was an original character for Power Rangers, and what they do with the Muppet is pretty interesting. But yeah, he fights with them with like CGI octopus tentacles, fights the Rangers, and Leo finally kills the bad guy. Scorpius gets killed, gets his back completely slashed. The Rangers all quadruple team him, finally defeat him. Deviat set Scorpius up to die so he could give him the cocoon. The cocoon will be a major plot point for the rest of the series until that finale. But yeah, Deviat pretends, oh, Master, I care for you. Let me carry on your legacy. Scorpius pretty much dies here. Meanwhile, Trakina has the main plot of the story, where Trakina gets into shape, has her Rocky montage, has a lot of fun moments where Villamax trains her, and she becomes an ultimate warrior. I do love Trakina is so petty that she gets her revenge on the hobos at the bar. Finally kicks their butts and gets her vengeance. She wanted to show off how badass she was, and she hires Villamax and Kegler to be her trusted advisors, but she gets a message that her father is dying. Trakina returns at the last minute. Scorpius is on his death rock. He almost gives Deviat the cocoon, but Trakina returns and interferes with his plans. Where Amy Miller actually has a very sad, tragic scene here. We get to see Trakina crying and apologizing to her father. The two make amends, where we get this heartwarming, emotional moment between a woman dressed as a sexy bug and a Muppet. Power Rangers is so awesome. But yeah, she and her father make amends, and Scorpius passes on the throne to his daughter, finally giving her the blessing to become the ultimate evil overlord, where he dies and his tentacle becomes her cool epic staff. Weirdly, they kind of imply Scorpius' spirit is a part of the staff, because we see there's like a little tarantula in the glass ball. But yeah, Trakina becomes the new leader here officially, and Deviat is now her Starscream. Deviat lies and says, it was the Red Ranger, he killed your father, where Trakina and Leo officially become archenemies. Yeah, this episode is awesome. Heir to the Throne is a classic. It's also my top 10. This is pretty much the biggest turning point in the series, where things got real. Trakina officially became the villain here. Scorpius, who we thought was the main villain, actually dies here, and he does not come back. He's gone forever. And we get the official villain team, Trakina, Deviat, Villamax, and Kegler. And the Rangers believe they've won, but are in for something darker on the horizon. This one, it's a classic. It is a game-changing episode, and for that, it's going galactic. Who did this to my father? I'm afraid it was one of your most hated enemies, the Red Ranger. Then he will pay. All of the Rangers will pay. Little do the Rangers know, as Maya says at the end of this episode, someone else took his place. Yeah, and that someone turned out to be Trakina. Yeah, I really love this episode. Great development from Trakina. Villamax was great. Yeah, Villamax is awesome. And the series broke the status quo here by actually having the Rangers win and defeat the main villain, Scorpius. Same here, Shadowlink. This is the workout montage now. Yep. Well, here's my response about the cake. I felt the way Maya said, "I'm starving," sounded like bad acting, and I discovered that the lipstick in that scene was a roach, and the guy tried to get that, yeah. Yeah, Villamax is awesome. Villamax is basically kind of Ecliptor 2.0, but gets a much more tragic moment at the end of the series. Yeah, Maya warns them that someone else took his place. What I remember in the series itself is how it stated that the actor who played Skull didn't return because he wanted to finish college. Yeah, that's what somebody said in the character tier list too. But yeah, Skull didn't come back because his actor was very busy. But we got Bulk and Professor Phenomena to be Stan Lee cameos in a few episodes. Yes, it is. Cat, love this episode. Any episode involving Trakina is a masterpiece, especially Stolen Beauty. This was Amy Miller's magnum opus. Yeah, Amy Miller definitely is one of the greatest actors in this episode. She has the chops to be funny, kick-ass, and actually emotional all at the same time. Definitely solidified Trakina as a fan favorite villain, and of course, it's going on Galactic. But sorry guys, we do gotta get to the next episode, which also is pretty awesome. Alright, what was the title? An Evil Game. Alright. We get Trakina finally getting revenge on the Power Rangers, and Trakina pretty much reveals that she is an ultra badass now. Trakina immediately tries to assassinate Leo, where she abducts him and puts him into her dungeon. And I see like a lot of people meme this scene that it looks kind of like a Power Rangers porno. Yeah, Amy Miller all in her skin-tight leather suit caressing Leo's face, and Leo's all hot, sweaty, and has his shirt damaged. Yeah, we get to the moment where Leo rips off his shirt where all the fangirls squeed. All the fangirls squeed in pure delight. This one also going on to Galactic. Yeah, it is another awesome entry. An Evil Game pretty much is Trakina trying to get her revenge on Leo. Leo is abducted, she has him tortured in her dungeon, and tries to execute him, but haha, Leo has grown as a hero, and this episode really highlights how far Leo and Trakina have come in their journey. Trakina solidifies herself as the ultimate villain. Leo solidifies himself as one of the greatest Red Rangers here, where he's done playing games, now he sees Trakina is a real threat, and yeah, we get that moment where he rips off his shirt. Don't worry, you'll see this in the theme song every time from this point onward. And Leo and Trakina have a one-on-one duel. Deviat tries to make his move and assassinate Trakina, but he actually kills his own assassins when they fail. Trakina is so badass that Deviat's goons completely fail to kill her. They ambush them, they free the Red Ranger, try to kill her, but Trakina murders one of them, and before the other can snitch, Deviat shoots him and takes him out. Yeah, this episode also solidifies Deviat is a very serious threat at this point too. This is not the bumbling comedic Starscream. Deviat is a lot more underhanded and manipulative. Yeah, he snipes out the one assassin, leading to kind of a distrust between Trakina and Deviat, but Deviat still has his cover fully on. Leo and Trakina have a fight. He barely wins, and we get this epic scene, as you can see here, where Trakina announces herself as the true ultimate villain towards the Rangers, where you may have destroyed my father, but you created something far worse. Me. And Trakina says she'll get the Rangers next time, making the Rangers realize their journey is not over yet. I don't know, it feels more like a tease than an assassination. Yeah, so won't lie, that scene where Leo's like being in the dungeon, somebody like memed that and says it looks like a Power Rangers porno. Where, you know the scene, Leo is chained to the wall, all hot and sweaty, and has some very serious clothing damage on him, and Trakina comes in, stroking his face, and somebody quoted that Trakina's the dominatrix here. Yeah, it is honestly kind of full of a lot of sexual tension subtext. But it's one of the scenes that made Power Rangers great. This one, also pretty awesome episode. I believe it did get an honorable mention, but I did think Heir to the Throne was a much stronger tale. Deviat, I was about to find out the one who was planning my destruction. I didn't know. I thought I was saving your life. Yeah, that classic. Yeah, Deviat would be trying to pull a lot more Starscreams compared to other characters. I know we also love Frax, but Deviat was a lot more sinister, trying to straight up kill his boss multiple times. Deviat would pull more schemes to try and get Trakina out of the way, and this was definitely one of them that showed you he was a genuine threat. An Evil Game Also S tier, it is a galactic masterpiece and showcases that Trakina is indeed a badass after all her training. Alright, next, yes, one of my favorite episodes, Memories of Miranoi. Yep, you know I remembered this one. It's a Maya episode, and of course, going on to S tier. I'm trying to remember, was it above Redemption Day or below? I think it might have been above just because of my crush on Maya. Alright, we made it to one of my favorite Maya episodes, Memories of Miranoi, and this one I do think is Serena Vincent at her best. Maya is feeling homesick after, the destruction of her home planet. However, all of a sudden, out of the blue, she sees her former best friend, Chandra. Chandra, another jungle girl, shows up on Terra Venture alive and well. Maya is completely ecstatic, but we find out there's more to her best friend than meets the eye. And this one is also kind of a friendship fallout episode between Maya and Kendrix. Kendrix is a bit jealous because Chandra was Maya's first best friend, and the two of them really love each other. They really get along. Maya knew her since childhood. We see them swinging on vines together, partying in the jungle. However, we find out this is indeed too good to be true. Chandra is not actually her best friend. It is Trakina's monster of the week in disguise. Trakina actually cooked up a pretty clever scheme, has her monster of the week pose as one of the Rangers' best friends in order to infiltrate the group and steal the Galaxy book. Maya falls for it hook, line, and sinker. She is completely blind to her best friend being a bad person. Kendrix catches on here, sees that Chandra is a bit off, finds out that the Galaxy book was almost stolen from the base, and believes it's the obvious suspect, Maya's best friend. And it leads to a friendship fallout where Maya has to question who her friends really are. Is Chandra the same best friend she remembers, or is Kendrix actually looking out for her? She believes Kendrix is jealous and has a fight with the Pink Ranger, says that, oh, you're just jealous, you're not my real friend, you would be happy for us. And Maya does start to doubt herself and realizes Kendrix is right, Chandra is not the person she thinks. Yep, a trust episode. A lot of Power Ranger series do episodes like this. Idol from SPD was another good episode with this theme as well. Now, I know a lot of these shows do the trust episode, especially in Power Rangers, but I really like them because it kind of shows you how close the Rangers are. Except if you watch Operation Overdrive, but yeah, it does show that the Power Rangers do have some tests of friendship and loyalty, and this one, definitely one of the more interesting ones. Maya realizes Kendrix was right, that Chandra is not who she thinks she is. The monster of the week steals the book, almost blows her cover, and it leads to, what else, a sexy cat fight between two hot jungle girls, before of course they reveal their forms. Maya morphs up into the Yellow Ranger, and after a few minutes fighting Chandra, both in their sexy outfits, Chandra reveals that she's actually this Egyptian monster. I call her female Anacharis. But yeah, she turns into like a giant mummy monster, and Maya apologizes to Kendrix for not trusting her, and Maya becomes the Spotlight Ranger this episode, leading the charge and killing the monster herself. This ends on kind of a bittersweet note. Maya is still depressed because, as far as she knows, she's kind of the last of her species. Miranoi is still gone. She still misses her best friend Chandra, realizes that she might never see her again. But Kendrix shows up, the two bury the hatchet, make amends. She realizes Kendrix is her true friend after all, and Maya admits that she still has hope that they can save Miranoi. She believes that one day she'll return to her home planet and she'll save her people, and Kendrix supports her here, showing that she was a good friend after all, and the two girls walk off to the happy post-credits scene. But yeah, this one, really love it. Really love Maya as a character. This one definitely made her a lot more interesting. They finally address she does feel depressed after losing her homeworld. Do like her and Chandra having the sexy jungle girl fight, because of course. Do like the Yellow Ranger getting some emotional depth here. And it does lead to a really kick-ass adventure. The trust issue episodes of Power Rangers are often hit or miss, but I do really like them, especially when it shows that the Rangers are growing as friends like here. Feels like the Nitra episode from Transformers Robots in Disguise with Strong Arm episode and Transformers Prime Dead End with Wheeljack. Yeah, kind of like that. Though unfortunately this doesn't end with Chandra blowing up from a bomb tied to her side. Me no like dominatrix, me hate pain, me hate dominatrix and pain. You know there have been flashback if the genders were reversed. There would have been a flashback if the genders were reversed. Okay, yeah. Anyways, this one is a great episode. One of my favorites. Again, I do have Maya bias because she's my favorite Yellow Ranger, but I think this did reveal that she did have a lot more depth than fans would think. She did show a good side to her, did show that she was biased because she kept siding with Chandra, and it does lead to her seeing the error of her ways and atoning for her mistakes by fighting the monster herself. Maya saves the galaxy book and actually rebuilds her friendship with Kendrix. This one is one of my favorites, and it made my top 10 for a reason. It is Galactic. Sorry, I meant to say Backlash. Okay. There would have been backlash if the genders were reversed. Yo, you mean if it was a guy stroking a girl ranger's face and she was partially exposed? Yeah, I could see that, but I wouldn't complain about it. Okay, anyways, Maya's episode, still great, going Galactic. Speaking of which, we're at Green Courage. I believe that's the name. Yeah, memories. Yep, Green Courage, I was right. Finally, a Damon episode, and this one is also really good. Not gonna lie, I was very sad this didn't make my top 10. It is an honorable mention, but I really wanted it on the 10 list. Unfortunately, it was outclassed by a lot of great episodes, but Damon's episode going on to Galactic. Yep, it's another good one. We finally get some spotlights on the mechanic, Damon, the chief engineer. Damon also kind of has some insecurities about being a ranger. Damon thinks he's actually unworthy of being a Power Ranger, and this spotlights that he's very insecure, he does not think highly of himself, and he kind of second guesses himself helping Terra Venture here. The Scorpion Stinger is malfunctioning, and they need an engineer to save it, leading to Trakina abducting somebody from Terra Venture in exchange for their engineer. They need somebody to fix their ship, otherwise if the engine blows up, they all die. Trakina demands that the Terra Venture send them an engineer in exchange for one of their commanders. And lo and behold, apparently Damon is the most intelligent genius engineer on Terra Venture. Yeah, Damon, the goofball, the comic relief Green Ranger, is the smartest man on Terra Venture. Damon volunteers because he blames himself, and Damon offers to exchange his own life basically for this commander woman. The commander woman is taken and is being held hostage in a cage. The Rangers, of course, don't trust Trakina to uphold her word, so Leo and Mike go undercover as regular soldiers to bust out the commander, while Damon repairs the ship. And the Scorpion Stinger is implied to be an actual living insect. Their engine is part mechanical and part insect organic. It is a really trippy set. And yeah, it is pretty hilarious because Damon and Trakina's actors actually got married in real life. Damon comes on board, he plays their game, tries to fix the engine, but is also hacking it to help Leo and Mike find the missing lady. Damon has some funny interactions with the other villains. Deviant almost suspects he's up to something but falls for his lie. And I do like that Trakina has the best line in this, where Trakina gets her ship fixed and of course she betrays him. But you said you'd let us go. Hello, I'm evil. I lied. It's honestly pretty funny. Yeah, Trakina I do love that the Power Ranger villains just kind of openly flaunt that they're evil. They're pretty much proud of being evildoers. Yeah, Trakina lied. However, the Rangers predicted this and double-cross her. They save the Senator lady. Damon finally steps up and fights, defeats the Monster of the Week on his own, and gains everyone's respect, finally gets a Medal of Honor for heroism, and This pretty much helps give Damon the confidence boost he needs. I really like this episode. It made Damon like one of my favorite Green Rangers. Now, no, he's no Tommy Oliver, because of course he's not, but Damon is honestly pretty underrated. He's funny, he's cool, and actually intelligent, and undergoes a pretty good arc where he realizes that deep down, he is a noble hero worthy of respect. The Commander Lady finally becomes friends with him and high fives him, because that's what you do with your cool black characters. But yeah, Damon gets his respect and gets a lot of praise. This one almost made my top 10 because I found it that entertaining, but unfortunately it was outclassed by some other episodes. I also do feel bad for the Rangers that don't get that many focused episodes. Katie from Time Force being another example. Yeah, she's still awesome though. And don't forget Flynn from RPM. I love Flynn. I wished he got more. I'm Scottish. Yeah, I myself can relate to this. I too suffer from being insecure. Yeah, that's kind of why I like this episode. I understand where Damon's coming from, and I think kids would actually resonate with the Green Ranger because he's very insecure, he thinks very lowly of himself, and this episode proves that he's actually a lot better than he thinks he is, and finally gets recognition for that. Damon is pretty awesome, though it kind of lost to Kai's episode, which we'll get to next, but this one, underrated. Damon is a pretty kick-ass ranger, and this one spotlights how cool he really is. Green Courage, definitely galactic. Yeah, sorry didn't make the top 10, but consider it number 11. Yeah, Damon unfortunately didn't get a lot of focused episodes, but Green Courage was arguably one of his best. Absolutely. Absolutely one of Damon's best stories. I also do feel bad for Rangers that don't read that one. Wow, did not know that. Very interesting. In reality, he's one lucky son of a bitch. Yeah. About them getting married in real life, I mean. Yeah, you didn't know? Damon and Trakeena's actors, Amy Miller and Reggie Roll, actually got married after the show. It's honestly pretty funny watching this and how many times they try killing each other. But yeah, they're a real-life Power Ranger couple. Amy Miller and Reggie Roll actually did get married after the show concluded, and I believe are still together. They actually are still a couple, still married, and it is pretty cool. I know they go to fan cons together. Yeah, Amy Miller is honestly still pretty hot. Yeah, I saw her in an interview. She still looks so pretty. Reggie Roll also kind of looks the same age, but that's good luck for him because black don't crack. But yeah, Damon, pretty awesome. Green Courage, highly recommend this episode. It is galactic. Wish Damon got more, but unfortunately he was our neglected Ranger this season. Regardless, this was still him at his top tier. Speaking of which, another Spotlight episode, this time on Kai. Blue to the Test, I believe. Yep, Blue to the Test. Got it right. Alright. Blue to the Test. Yep, this one also going on Galactic. You know it is. Yeah, I'm gonna put it under Heir to the Throne. That's how it was on my top 10. Finally get the episode that fully redeems Kai. Kai is put to the test in this episode. Finally, Kai's obsession with following orders, working by the book, is finally challenged in this episode. Trakeena sends a Monster of the Week to brainwash Commander Stanton into flying Terra Venture into a dangerous course close to a sun. If Terra Venture gets too close to the sun, the gravity will pull them in and destroy them. Kai actually realizes that this course is lethal and tries to warn them, but Commander Stanton is brainwashed into being a bad guy and denies Kai and fires him. Kai is put to the test in this episode. Is he going to follow orders like a good soldier or do the right thing even at the cost of basically looking like a bad soldier? Kai actually stands up to his boss, stands up to his terrible orders, and has a fight with Commander Stanton and the evil Angel Archer of the Week. Yeah, there's this cool, I really love the Monster of the Week's design in this one, this really cool Angel Archer. She fires arrows that can explode or brainwash people. Really trippy design, but yeah, Kai has his epic moment. It's his coming of age story. Kai basically trusts his gut, follows his instincts, even when everything seems hopeless. He stands against bad orders. He's one man against the entire system, and Kai stands up to Commander Stanton, locks him in the closet, and narrowly saves Terra Venture from crashing into his son, and finally gets the recognition he deserves. This episode honestly is Kai at his best. I think Kai's character arc is truly fulfilled here. Kai starts to realize that following orders isn't always the way, starts trusting his own instincts, and even standing up to people he looks up to. Kai also gets his standing ovation, he gets a huge promotion, and is promoted as temporary commander of the bridge. He is officially now Commander Stanton's second in command at the end of this episode, and Kai, well deserved, finally got the respect he always wanted. This episode is easily the best Blue Ranger story. Hey Kat, hey Monica, are you planning on getting Tomodachi Life, living the dream on April? About them getting married in real life. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you didn't know Trakina and Damon are married in real life? Okay, anyways, Kai's episode, definitely one of my favorites. It made my top 10. I worded my appreciation of it much better on that video, but to this day, it is still one of my favorites. It made Kai my favorite Blue Ranger. It is galactic. Alright, next, is this Mean Wheels Mantis? Yes, it is. Okay, next we get Mean Wheels Mantis, aka the new toy episode. The Rangers face an evil mantis alien who's the fastest biker in space, and the Rangers can't beat him because their galactic motorcycles just aren't fast enough, leading to a power-up. As you can see here, Leo gets a super giga motorcycle. And this one, going on to A tier, I thought it was also pretty alright. Liked it a little, but not one of my favorite ones. Basically, the girls get trapped by Mean Wheels Mantis. Maya and Kendrix are turned into trophies, and the only way to get them back is to win them, where the guys try racing Mean Wheels Mantis, this evil motorcycle racer. It's a racing episode. They race him 2 times, can't beat him. They race him a 3rd and final time, and if they lose, they get turned into trophies too. But Leo gets his power up, his galactic cycle here. Yeah, this huge armored motorcycle where Leo finally wins and saves the day. The guys actually save the girls this time, and they end up freeing Maya and Kendrix from being trophies forever, kill Mean Wheels Mantis, and finally get a new toy. Yeah, this one, it's a very simple episode, but honestly a pretty fun one. If you like racing episodes and sports episodes, this one's definitely for you. I think it's good, not perfect. Yeah, it's another toy commercial episode, what can I say? Yeah, well, he can never beat Manny the Mantis from the Haunting Hour. No, he can't. Manny was awesome. Don't worry, Manny, I avenged your death, finally killed Nega Cat. Okay, this one, definitely decent. I think it's a dumb fun episode. If you like motorcycles and kick-ass racing fights, it's definitely for you. Not one of the best Lost Galaxy episodes, but definitely an interesting one. Love the Rangers racing the bad guy to defeat him. Definitely Ranger Radical. Yes, next one, Loyax's episode. Loyax's Last Battle. Was that it? Yeah, I got it right. Loyax's Last Battle. Yep, this one also going galactic. Really love it. Yeah, I do like it more than Green Courage. This one is another Maya episode, and wouldn't you know it, the Yellow Ranger also had one of the best episodes in the series. We meet Loyax. The monster of the week is an elder warrior who wants to go out in one final blaze of glory, a fight against the Power Rangers. He's apparently a friend of Villamax and hired to kill the Power Rangers. Loyax has a lot of honor, a lot of discipline, and believes in fighting fair. Meanwhile, the Power Rangers are actually seen training in this episode, where Maya is actually the best fighter among them. And this episode kind of addresses sexism because Maya's pretty tough for a girl. And yeah, Maya takes it all in jest, kind of plays around with her friends. I know Leo doesn't mean it, but he's just basically having fun trolling her. However, Loyax, unfortunately, does mean it. Loyax fights the Power Rangers, and comes face to face with the Yellow Ranger, but he refuses to fight her because she's a girl. I don't fight girl warriors, that's dishonorable because girls are weak, and Maya kind of proves she's not weak if you didn't believe that before. Maya shows she's a badass, she fights Loyax, and Loyax actually gets a lot of character development in this episode. Loyax used to be a hero. He believed in fighting for good, believed that good would always prevail, believed in being the hero. However, he lost everything and ultimately became a mercenary for hire, believing that evil was too strong. Loyax gave up on good and became a villain for hire. He and Maya are forced to work together, they fight each other, then they fall down a cliff, Maya gets hurt, Loyax actually treats her, they learn to help each other out, and Loyax works past his sexist viewpoints and sees the Yellow Ranger is indeed a worthy warrior. But Maya actually tries to convince him to be good, that fighting for good is not hopeless, evil may be strong, but being good makes you stronger. Loyax actually refuses to fight Maya because he wants to join her now. Unfortunately, Deviat comes back, the evil, devious bastard, and he hacks into Loyax with his new invention, takes him over and forces him to fight, where the Rangers reluctantly fight and kill Loyax. Maya defeats Loyax, but Loyax says, "Oh, you were a worthy opponent all along," and he apologizes, where Loyax dies, and they actually give the monster a funeral. Maya has this very deep emotional moment where they build a grave, like bury his sword in the sand, and say Loyax did die with honor after all, giving kids a lesson that it doesn't matter what your gender is, who you are. If you fight with honor, then you are a good person worthy of respect. Really love this one. Me too, Shadowlink. Again, almost made my top 10 list, but what can I say? Lost Galaxy had way too many good ones. Yeah, I'm sorry, I wanted Loyax's last battle to be on the top 10 as well, but yeah, there were just so many awesome ones. I couldn't bump off the In Space crossover. But yeah, Loyax's last battle, it is a masterpiece, and honestly, one of the deepest, most mature Power Ranger stories I've seen in a long time. It's very intelligent, very mature, and actually philosophical at times, which really says a lot coming from a Power Ranger show. Loyax's last battle, easily galactic, it is S tier, it is a masterpiece, and I strongly recommend checking this one out. Love this episode, great lesson, absolutely. This would be my personal favorite Maya episode, really nice, or really showing her compassionate side when she learned what Loyax was. The beach scene was absolute cinematic finish too. Yes, that was. The beach scene is the most remembered part of the episode. Yep, Maya gives Loyax a proper warrior's burial, showing that she did respect him as much as he learned to respect her. This one, it is epic and honestly really shows you how awesome Power Rangers could truly be. Definitely going on galactic. Oh no, not this one. Unfortunately, it was followed up by a pretty bad one. A Red Romance. Remember this episode, Power Ranger fans? Because I try to forget it. A Red Romance is a Leo Girl of the Week episode, where Leo falls in love. Sadly, with not one of the characters who actually matters. Yeah, Leo doesn't go out with Kendrix, or Maya, or Corone, or even Trakina. He dates this random civilian woman who we'll never see ever again. Yeah, Leo falls in love with this hot chick who's on Terra Venture, and he basically has to earn the blessing of her brother. The girl's brother is more important than she is. The brother is very overprotective of his sister, and during a Monster of the Week attack, Leo has to run away to morph into the Red Ranger, but the brother completely misinterprets it and thinks Leo is a coward. The girl ends up captured by the Monster of the Week, and the brother blames Leo for it. And honestly, this is my problem with the episode. The brother calls Leo a coward who's too afraid to fight on his own, afraid to fight against all odds, and Leo actually thinks the brother has a point. What? It's like, we're supposed to believe Leo is a coward. Leo is a coward. And yeah, it is so stupid. I mean, it makes sense from the brother's perspective, but not at all from Leo's. Leo actually starts second guessing himself and believes the brother has a point, and the brother goes on this really stupid solo mission to save his sister himself. Yet you're gonna fight a Power Ranger monster with your hockey pads. Good luck with that. Yeah, the brother goes, he epic fails, and Leo proves he is worthy of her, proves he is a man, proves he does have courage and he can fight. He saves the brother, earning his respect, and he slays the monster of the week as the Red Ranger. Would have honestly been more interesting if Leo killed a monster without his ranger powers, but whatever. And yeah, I did not like this episode. Leo earns the brother's respect and finally goes out with her, only to never call her ever again because she only mattered in this one and done plot. Honestly, it felt like Leo had more of a romance with the brother than his actual love interest here. Yeah, this one, our first dead bug. I think this is like easily the worst episode of the series. Leo is kind of out of character here. I guess it's supposed to be like his self-loathing and insecurities coming back, but at this point in the series, Leo is like a bona fide badass by now. Yeah, wasn't that big of a fan of this one. Me neither, Shadowlink. I thought this was bad. Honestly, this episode feels like it should have came at the start of the series, back before Leo developed more personality and didn't kill Trecheron, didn't go toe-to-toe with Drakena, didn't save the Magna Defender. At this point in time, it feels very out of place. Too bad nowadays you hardly get a good lessons in anymore from entertainment. I agree, Chris, I agree. Feels like Shaggy's romance, courtesy of sarcastic chorus, with Rangers trying to date or do romance. Yeah, a red romance, honestly, one of the worst episodes of the series. This does not fit Leo's character at all, and this girl he dates doesn't even come back, making the episode feel even more pointless. Pointless filler episode, skip it, it is a dead bug. But thankfully, next one is a good one. What? Yeah, the Chameleac Warrior, okay. Yep, the Chameleac Warrior, of course, going on Galactic. This episode, also pretty awesome. The Rangers fight the Taskmaster, Chameleac. Chameleac is a very interesting monster of the week. He studies his opponent's fighting styles and copies them as his own. He watches footage of Rangers and their previous fight scenes, studies and masters all their moves, and puts it into his computer head so he can be an even match and defeat the Power Rangers with their own fighting moves. This guy is pretty much the Taskmaster of Power Rangers. His special ability is he copies the fighting styles of his opponents, and the Rangers struggle to beat him because he keeps defeating them with their own moves. The pink, yellow, green, blue, and red Ranger all can't beat him. You'd think the Magna Defender would step in, but no. Meanwhile, Villamax and Kegler have built a giant laser to snipe out the Galactabeast. Next time they transform, they would shoot this Death Star laser and kill them, and Chameleac is basically buying them time. And yeah, this episode, honestly pretty intense, pretty epic. It is a cool action adventure. Chameleac is a very serious threat. The Rangers almost lose against him multiple times, up until they have the clever strategy of copying their friends' fight styles. Yeah, like Maya copies the way Kendrix fights, Damon copies the way the Yellow Ranger fights. It is a pretty fun and creative episode. So practically the same villain from Marvel. Yeah, kind of, except Chameleac has the ability to like download their moves onto like a disc, and he like plugs it into like this computer on his head. Yeah, this guy is kind of a taskmaster fighting the Power Rangers. He copies their moves, copies their styles. He almost defeats them, but the Rangers mix it up, throw him off, and eventually he even copies the Megazord fighting styles in his second round. I do love that they actually just throw him off by giving a different Megazord a different weapon and shoot him. That was a pretty funny end to him, but yeah, the Rangers defeat him, realize that they can trust each other now, and it's all happy and kick-ass. They defeat Villamax's evil scheme, and the Rangers overcome their differences and learn the value of teamwork. Definitely a fun episode. Chameleon is a really kick-ass villain. Highly recommend watching this one. They definitely kind of had fun experimenting with new themes in the Ranger formula. So again, Taskmaster from the MCU. Yeah, except he's an actual guy and not Taskmistress. Very effective monster for sure. The Rangers definitely had to think strategically to win. Plus, Mike also shines in this episode, destroying the weapon that would have destroyed the Galactabeast. Yeah, Mike actually solos and destroys the giant laser, defeating Villamax and Kegler. But yeah, Chameleon Warrior, definitely a galactic episode. Highly recommend it. Just opening some water. Alright, gotta use my restroom break, but get excited because we're getting to the big epic crossover event, to the 10th power. I'll be right back, just gotta use a quick restroom break. See you real soon, in space! Who are you? Who am I? I'm Psycho Red. Yeah, is there really any surprise here? To the 10th power is going on number 1 at Galactic. This is not only one of the best Lost Galaxy episodes, this is one of the greatest Power Ranger crossovers of all time. To this day, I think it is the gold standard of these Power Ranger events. The Galaxy Rangers meet the Space Rangers in order to defeat the Psycho Rangers. Yeah, it is Insane Ranger Mondium. It's more phenomenal. This one, insanely fun. The Psycho Rangers are back. Trakina has recovered. Well, actually, Deviant has. Deviant recovered the microchips of the Psycho Rangers from the Lost City. If you don't remember, the Psycho Rangers were trapped and turned into microdiscs, finally depowered. However, the discs have made their way into the hands of Trakina and Deviant, who revive the Psycho Rangers. The Psycho Rangers are employed to assassinate the current generation of Power Rangers. They fight them, almost take them all out, until Leo is saved by Andros. Yep, the greatest Space Ranger. Andros is back, and he works together with Leo to save his friends, leading to what you all wanted: the Space Rangers and the Galaxy Rangers working side by side to defeat one of the greatest, most epic Power Ranger arc villains ever. Trakina and the Psycho Rangers take the Galactic team hostage, where Andros teams up with Leo, they work together, and we see the Space Rangers are back in action. We get to hear that epic theme song in space play for a brief moment, and the two Rangers work together to defeat their Psycho clone. And yeah, it is awesome. It is epic. It is peak Power Rangers. This is one of the greatest episodes from this entire franchise. That's how great it is. Crossover time. Also definitely had the funniest Zord fight in the show. Wait, where did that come from? This does not compute. Yeah, that was funny. Chameleon just gets shot. Love this crossover, back when crossovers were good. Absolutely. The GOAT Power Rangers crossover. Too bad Zane wasn't here. Yeah, the Silver Ranger didn't reappear. I guess they couldn't afford to get him back. Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't get the Sixth Ranger back. They would fix this in time for Lightspeed, but unfortunately that was a garbage episode. They would just get the primary team colors back. They did this for Trakeena's Revenge, but it made sense there because Ryan was on sabbatical trying to find a way to stop the demons, and Mike was completely depowered. The Magna Defender powers were gone by then, but this crossover, it remains awesome. It is one of the best. It's basically the two Ranger teams coming together and defeating the Psycho Rangers, killing them once and for all. Or at least 4 out of 5 of them. They fight, they work together in unison, and it is so cool watching them work together, watching them both use their iconic moves, watching them finally kill their Psycho clone. And yeah, what more can I even add? This one is great. This might be our #1 Lost Galaxy episode. Spoilers for my top 10 video if you haven't seen it, but yeah. To this day, I think it is like one of the greatest Power Ranger stories of all time. It is that good. It is galactic. This is far more better crossover than the Next Generation Turtles crossover with in Space Rangers. Nice passing of the torch. Yeah, the Space Rangers and the Galactic Rangers actually get along past the torch. Unfortunately, this episode was too good that a lot of the follow-up crossovers didn't live up to it. I do actually love Trakeena's Revenge. I don't care what anyone says. I know there was production problems, but I thought it was an enjoyable episode. Not as good as To the 10th Power, of course, but definitely decent. Then Time for Lightspeed happened, and that one really sucked. Did not like it. Time Force and Wild Force getting together, that one was also good. They finally fixed it. Then Ninja Storm ended up not doing a crossover because they didn't want to pay that much. Yeah, thankfully, To the 10th Power does remain one of the best. It is one of the biggest highlights of this entire saga. Like, what more can I really say? It's two of the best Ranger teams meeting each other to combat one of the greatest arc villains of all time. It is Galactic, a masterpiece. Speaking of which, we also got the other one, the Pink Power Ranger dying. The Power of Pink. Okay, I was gonna say that. Alright, Power of Pink, also going on Galactic. Yeah, I think it was under Blue to the test. The Power of Pink. Okay, I do like this episode. Don't let it being this low fool you. It's just low on my top 10. The Power of Pink also is a cinematic masterpiece. This is one of the greatest episodes of the series, too. The Pink Ranger dies. It turns out Psycho Pink survived and has hatched an evil scheme to get revenge on the Rangers, starting with killing her archenemies, the Pinks. Cassie and Kendrix become best friends and unite to stop her. We get to the ultimate battle of Pink energy, where the Psycho Pink gets this magical saber which can absorb energy, and she's stealing the Pink energy. She almost kills Cassie and is absorbing enough power to become a Super Saiyan God, leading to, of course, the moment you all remember. Kendrix heroically sacrificing herself to save the galaxy. The sword is absorbing power, it's stabbed into the in-space morpher. Cassie is completely helpless, is knocked unconscious, leading to Kendrix sacrificing herself because the other Rangers won't make it on time. She destroys the saber, Psycho Pink dies in a Megazord duel, but she finally achieved the impossible. A Psycho Ranger killed one of the main Rangers. Kendrix dies and becomes a Force Ghost, losing the power. Zordon was right, too much pink energy is dangerous. It was too much and Kendrix ended up falling. We get some subtle clues that Cassie was gonna become the next Pink Ranger, which in hindsight did kind of lose this episode points because that didn't happen. Too much pink energy was definitely dangerous. Kendrix, no. Yeah, we lost Kendrix. So, if you guys don't know or don't remember, Valerie Vernon had leukemia and she had to depart the show in order to get treatment, otherwise she was gonna definitely die. This led to the writing team being forced to write Kendricks out of the plot. Valerie Vernon departed the show, occasionally showed up for a cameo or a voiceover here and there, but the character was effectively gone. Kendricks left, and the Galaxy Rangers suffer their most devastating loss. A Power Ranger actually dies on the show. Yeah, let that sink in. A Power Ranger, one of the main characters, died on the show mid-season, mind you. They lose Kendricks and need a replacement Pink Ranger. The Space Ranger finally make amends with with the Galaxy Rangers. They apologize for failing to save Kendricks, but the Space Rangers are implied to be going off on future adventures, but they leave the door open for Cassie to return. Spoiler, she didn't. Cassie feels guilty because she blames herself for losing Kendricks, and now the Galaxy Rangers have to solve one of their harshest challenges, finding a new Pink Ranger. And yeah, it is so sad. Kendricks was actually a true, compelling, likable character at this point. They did give her enough to do on the show. You do feel sorry for her, and her death is still very tragic. The Rangers actually really pour a lot of emotion and good acting into this scene. But yeah, we lost Kendricks. She died. Don't worry, it won't be the last we ever see of her. But yeah, this episode still remains a classic. This is, to this day, one of the darkest, hard-hitting Power Ranger stories ever. And yeah, definitely worthy of my top 10. It is galactic. Yeah, younger me definitely did not see her death coming. It was an absolute shocking surprise for sure. Yeah, it is honestly amazing. I love seeing people's reactions to hearing, wait, a Power Ranger actually died? Like, not a heroic sacrifice, not a former Power Ranger, an actual current active Ranger died in the line of duty. That is impressive and very emotional and hard-hitting to this day. Same here, Shadowlink. Yeah, I bet a lot of people were really shocked that, yeah, one of the Power Rangers up and died. Kendricks went out a hero at least, and went out in her final blaze of glory, but man, did it hurt. We lost the Pink Ranger, and out of respect for Kendricks, she is galactic. But you know, what's coming up next? The new Pink Ranger, Karone. Alright, what was the name of the episode? Protect the Quasar Saber. Alright, we finally get our replacement Pink Ranger, Astronema. Karone is back, and she gets to be the new Pink Ranger. And yeah, you bet this episode is also going on galactic. Yeah, it was before Blue to the Test. They bring us a new Pink Ranger, so after they didn't get Cassie, they found the replacement. The Quasar Saber was lost to the galaxy. It went off trying to find a new wielder, and lo and behold, Karone returns. If you don't remember, this is Astronema, Andros' sister, who is now turning over a new leaf. Karone has kind of become this traveling anti-hero, kind of like a girl Han Solo, going to place using her former identity as Astronema to carry out justice incognito. A gang of villains ends up finding the Quasar Saber and is auctioning it off to the highest bidder, where we see a bunch of cameos from other Ranger villains. Weirdly, the Wasp from Wasp with a Heart was there too, but I assume it was recycling the suit. Oh, and you guys might be happy to see the Piranhatrons return to cameo. Yeah, basically the Piranhatrons and the salesman try to auction it off, where Karone reveals herself, but haha, Trakina is also there, and Trakina exposes her as, oh, you're not Astronema, you're Karone, you abandon your evil ways, where Karone steals the Quasar Saber and is trying to return it to the Rangers, leading to the Rangers trying to carry on the team without their Pink Ranger. I will say, it is pretty interesting and very mature that they are addressing this, that the Rangers do not feel very well at this point. Of course, they're still grieving for Kendricks, but they know they have to keep up the fight. They think they can't do this without her or without a Pink Ranger, only to, of course, meet Karone. And the Rangers and Karone work together where we honestly get a pretty satisfying end to Karone's redemption arc. Karone atones for her villainous ways, is helping the Power Rangers out, and it leads to her being chosen by the Quasar Saber, the ghost of Kendrick shows up and says Karone is worthy of being the new Pink. And yep, Astronema goes from being a villain to being a Power Ranger. Of course, I do like the sexy cat fight between her and Trakina. Watching two hot chicks in tight leather fighting in the desert, really peak TV. But yeah, Karone becomes the new Pink Ranger and masters the powers working alongside the Rangers. And yeah, it is good. It is a very interesting episode, and I know a lot of people were upset that Cassie didn't become the new Pink, but Karone really earned it. I really do like this end to her villain arc, basically. Karone pulls the ultimate redemption, becoming a new Ranger. Honestly, this was perfect for Karone's arc of being good and redeemed. Was awesome she got to be the Pink Ranger. Yeah, it is pretty amazing. I heard some people were hoping Trakina would go through the same thing, where Trakina would become good or become a Ranger possibly. Sadly, that never happened because they kind of stuck to their guns, but yeah, Karone, definitely worthy Pink. This one is galactic. One of my top 10 favorite episodes. Great episode and great way to bring Karone into the show. She was definitely a worthy replacement. I forget what is Terra Venture. Anime Night. Terra Venture is the ship slash city the Rangers live in. It's this giant, like, Star Destroyer-sized ship, which is carrying colonists off to colonize a new planet. Terra Venture is the name of the giant, city-sized mega ship. Yeah, they even acknowledge that in Megaforce for the ultimate fight, the endgame fight, before they fight and put on their helmets. I can't believe it. Me, a Power Ranger. Like I wanted to be a Power Ranger anyway. And they reference this in the Megaforce anniversary special. I love being a Power Ranger. The only highlight of that terrible anniversary special. But anyways, yeah, this one going on Galactic. Trying to remember the episode name. Facing the Past. Okay, this one, if you can't tell, Leo gets his Battleizer armor and is also a Karone episode. Karone and Leo are trying to find a super weapon that can help the Rangers turn the tide in their battle against Trakina. And Karone and Leo actually go on a super magical quest, kind of Odyssey style, where they face their past and their inner demons and are put to the test. Leo tries to find these sacred weapons that can help them turn the tide in their favor. Karone comes with them, and we get that cool scene of Karone fighting Astronema. She fights like an illusion of her past self. It turns out to be a secret test if she's willing to die for Leo, which of course she passes. Leo gets these magic daggers and learns to use them, forming his Battleizer armor. And yeah, this one's pretty awesome. I will put it on Ranger Radical. Yeah, I do kind of like it. They carry on a bit of Karone's arc. My only problem is I kind of thought they resolved Karone's arc back in Protect the Quasar Saber. It felt like Karone did finally turn around, but here we're kind of getting more clarification. She combats her evil mirror self, passes the test, and proves she was good all along, which I kind of thought she was because Kendricks personally picked her to be the Pink Ranger, but whatever. And we get Leo's awesome Battleizer armor, which is pretty cool. He brings it out, one-shots the monster, and this armor would appear in the theme song from this point onward. So basically, like Tommy from Dino Thunder with facing the past Ranger selves and becoming the Black Dino Ranger. Almost. It is a nice attempt, but I think the Tommy Oliver one was much better because he's fighting multiple versions of himself. Ironically, the Red Turbo Ranger was not in there, but you're all probably thinking that was a good thing. But yeah, I think it's almost like as good as Tommy's episode, but not as emotionally impactful. Plus, it was really all an excuse to introduce Leo's Battleizer armor. Karone is supposed to be the main character in this, but Leo's the one who actually gets more to do in the episode. Nevertheless, I think it's an A-tier episode. I'll put it on Ranger Radical. Alright, almost there. Oh no, we're on Turn Up the Volume. I believe the last actual Damon episode. Damon competes with this rival nerd named Maxwell for a big promotion on Terra Venture. So Karone kind of peer pressures Damon into entering this contest where whoever can come up with the great super weapon to combat Trakeena's forces will get this big wig promotion in Terra Venture. And Maxwell is this dorky rival nerd. He is always picking on Damon, acting like he's smug and superior and he's the smartest. Kind of almost Edward Nygma, but without the humor. Maxwell steals Damon's invention, but the problem, Damon's invention was incomplete. He fell asleep before he could finish his plans. He built blueprints for this super sonar laser weapon that could kill monsters, but Maxwell broke into his room and stole them when he was asleep. He builds an incomplete version of the ray. While this is happening, Trakeena sends a Soundwave monster, this deaf bat monster, he has like stereos on his shoulders, to destroy Terra Venture with the ultimate weapon, Soundwaves. Using his noise and Soundwave attacks, he destroys Terra Venture. Maxwell tries to save the day, but he doesn't listen to Damon's warnings, and the invention ends up backfiring and breaking down on them. Damon proves he's the better man. He saves Maxwell and he completes the invention. Maxwell gains a newfound respect for Damon because despite everything he did to him, Damon was still a good guy. Damon fixes the volume machine and they destroy the sound bat Doc Brown here, blow him up. Maxwell apologizes to Damon and gives him his job, and unfortunately, it kind of leads to a return to the status quo. It has a comedy ending where Damon gets his office, but he doesn't like it. He likes getting dirty. He likes working in the engine room. The new promotion basically gives him an office job. He has to file out paperwork. He has people doing the hard stuff for him. Damon rejects the offer, reverts back to his old job, and gives it to Maxwell anyway, proving that they're friends now. Honestly, this episode I'm going to put onto Magna meh, or I thought it was alright. Damon could have been written well, and I think it would have been interesting seeing him get a promotion, but unfortunately they end on like a return to the status quo, a wacky comedy ending. I do like that Karone gets a bit frustrated because, what, I did this all for you, and Damon's like, no, I'm fine. Yeah, this episode, honestly an okay one. Not the worst thing ever, but a pretty Magna meh-er episode. Speaking of which, we're now on a good episode. I believe this is, yes, Enter the Lost Galaxy. Yep, we're finally here. Alright, Enter the Lost Galaxy, a return to a good episode. Enter the Lost Galaxy has Deviat unlock his master plan of finally betraying Trakeena and stealing the Galaxy Book for himself. Deviat manages to finally get his claws on the Galaxy Book and gives himself a power-up, becoming the Ultra Deviat. Deviat gets this really sick, creepy predator mutant form, and he nearly destroys Terra Venture. Deviat gets a power-up. Kai is chosen by this spiritual guardian. The guardian of the Galaxy Book shows up, and Kai undergoes a test of faith, a test of loyalty. Kai works with this elder sage warrior guy, helps bust him out of prison, and together, they work together. Kai is selected to be his warrior, his apprentice. Kai is selected by this guy to be the new guardian of the Galaxy Book. Kai is, of course, kind of afraid. He doesn't know what to do. He's afraid that this is going to change his life, afraid of being the ultimate protector of something so powerful. Kai listens to this guy, helps work with him. Deviat ends up killing this guy. Yeah, we get another important character killed on Lost Galaxy. The wise guy gets killed, and Kai becomes the new guardian of the Galaxy Book. He musters up his courage, finally stands up for himself, and fights Deviat in an ultimate battle where he saves the day. However, the Galaxy Book activates and takes them into the Lost Galaxy. Yep, only a few episodes left, as you can see here, and only now are we entering the Lost Galaxy. Regardless, I do think this episode is pretty good. I'm going to put it also on Galactic. the Magna Defender definitely outshines this one, but this one honestly is a decent one. I kind of wish we entered the Lost Galaxy sooner, or I thought that was the whole point of the show, but yeah, they enter the Lost Galaxy at the end, and the status quo is gonna be forever changed. From this point onward, we're nearing the endgame, people, but yeah, another kick-ass episode, another episode that moves the plot very forward. Unfortunately, the worst part is, Trakina and Villamax are kinda sidelined until the finale. Would have been a good send-off for Deviant, but he does come back next episode and has more plans helping out Captain Mutiny for the time being. Yeah, honestly, Deviant should have been killed off in this episode, but the show wasn't ready to let go of him yet. I assume it was because of all that Sentai footage with Captain Mutiny. But yeah, Deviant got his final form and unfortunately loses the power next episode. Anyways, this one will go on Galactic. Alright, speaking of which, we're now on Beware the Mutiny. Starting the Captain Mutiny arc, and yes, this is the penultimate arc before the finale, and as you can see, we get a lot of episodes. Captain Mutiny's debut episode honestly wasn't too bad. I will put it onto Ranger Radical. Alright, so Captain Mutiny is not one of my favorite villains. It doesn't help that he's stealing a lot of spotlight from Trakina and Villamax. Captain Mutiny is a filler arc villain. He is a quote-unquote benevolent pirate king of the Lost Galaxy. So, I do like how he starts his debut. Captain Mutiny shows up to Terra Venture, welcomes them with open arms, and pretends to be a nice guy. He offers to help Terra Venture, shows them that, oh, we can be allies. You need allies to survive the Lost Galaxy after all. He gives them some treasure, gives them directions on where to go. However, as you can guess, it's all a lie. Captain Mutiny is a complete psychopath who actually takes people prisoner and enslaves several aliens in order to dig up treasures for him. He has like an entire mine colony planet. A bunch of human-looking aliens are imprisoned here. Yeah, they really went cheap on the other alien people, but yeah, a bunch of aliens are held captive. He has a bunch of slaves, and he plans to add Terra Venture's colonists to his slave farm. The Rangers find out Captain Mutiny is a BS liar, fight one of his minions, uncover that Captain Mutiny is going to be our arc villain for a while. Deviant, unfortunately, loses his superpowers here. I guess he was like too OP because Deviant kills one of his monsters to revert back to his normal self so he can show up in all that Sentai footage. Deviant allies with Captain Mutiny here, and pretty much Deviant is the only villain we're familiar with throughout this entire arc because he was set up so early. But yeah, Deviant becomes Captain Mutiny's second in command and weirdly is a lot more loyal to him, but I guess it's because they're both treacherous. Captain Mutiny ends up losing to the Rangers, but he's already hatched his scheme. He's given them a Trojan horse, but his debut episode honestly isn't too bad. Speaking of which, we get to Grunshore on the loose. Captain Mutiny's package is open at the end of the episode, revealing a giant tunneler monster, the Grunshore. This seemingly unstoppable beast tunneling through Terra Venture until he destroys the super ship. And yeah, honestly, this one wasn't too bad either. I'm gonna put it onto Ranger Radical. The Grunshore is pretty terrifying, looks kind of like a Balrog, very threatening, very intimidating, and has really cool powers. Wasn't that big with these new villains, to be honest. Yeah, this arc definitely has its moments, but Mutiny and his generals that I can't remember his names are no Trakina or Villamax. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so Power Rangers did have these filler arc villains slash mini bosses. They kind of took over the plot while the real villains kicked back, but I thought Captain Mutiny kind of overstayed his welcome. That was my big problem. The guy playing him is definitely having fun. And there are some highlights in this arc, but yeah, I really miss Trakina and Villamax. It didn't help that they don't even cameo until the end. Yeah, we don't see Trakina and Villamax until the finale, people. That's how much screen time Captain Mutiny ate up. This arc also kind of dragged in places. For one, it took the Rangers like 5 episodes until they freed his slaves. But yeah, Grunger attacks, the Rangers unite, get the new super weapon. No matter what they do to this monster, he seems to be surviving it, endures fire, keeps growing bigger, until the Rangers eventually outsmart it, eventually power up, and completely kill Grunger with their new Megazord abilities. Yeah, also kind of an alright episode. Not one of my favorites, but definitely a worthwhile watch. Definitely a radical Ranger. Oh no, speaking of which, time for the clip show episode. Until Sunset. Okay, that's what it was called. So, at the end of Grunger on the Loose, Damon and Leo go out to fight Captain Mutiny, only to get captured, where Deviant and whoever Captain Mutiny's first mate is, they capture the Green and Red Ranger, but decide not to kill them. They instead tie them up and leave them for Captain Mutiny to decide their fate. Most likely whether or not to kill the Rangers or make them slaves. And Damon and Leo are tied up in their sexiest outfits, held out in the desert, and until the sun sets, they're pretty much left alone all episode, where they reminisce on everything. Yep, it's a clip show episode. You guys know how I feel about these. Alright, I understand back in the day we didn't have a way to watch a lot of shows, a lot of continuity heavy shows needed to tell people the plot. Clip shows were kind of an excuse for that on Power Rangers, where basically they recap everything that happened here. Though, not gonna lie, one of my favorite lines is where they're talking about Trakina, and both Damon and Leo actually joke that, oh, Trakina is hot. Yeah, Trakina, she was just as bad as her dad, evil to the bone. And cute. I do love the Power Rangers actually acknowledge they find Trakina sexy. Unfortunately, that is the only highlight of this episode. Also going on, turn up the power. Alright, so as far as clip show episodes go, it's not that bad. Damon and Leo definitely carry this episode. They have a lot of funny moments and interactions, a lot of good lines, like them talking about their friends, talking about how hot Trakina is, and at the end of the episode, they both kind of blame the other for getting caught in this predicament. Yeah, of course, the other Rangers show up at the end, ambush Captain Mutiny, and free their friends, where they kind of solidify the friendship between Damon and Leo. I do like the odd couple pairing here, because Damon and Leo don't talk too often. Here, they openly admit, yeah, they're total best friends by now, which is a sweet moment, but yeah, it's still a clip show episode. Power Rangers and their clip shows. Yeah, these are rarely done well. I think the only good one was Tommy Oliver giving his vlog on the entire Ranger franchise for the Dino Thunder Rangers, mostly because that was a huge moment for their anniversary. But yeah, clip show episode, going on Turn Up the Power. Not the worst thing ever, has some funny moments, but easy skip. Speaking of which, on another Put the Characters to Sleep episode. No, not Dream Battle. Okay. We get introduced to Hexaba, who I wish was the arc villain of this entire storyline, because Hexaba was pretty awesome. Hexaba tries to help Captain Mutiny defeat the Power Rangers with magic, where the Rangers are given these toxic flowers which put them to sleep, leading to them having a battle within their dreams. And Dream Battle. This one is going on to Ranger Radical. Yeah, almost an S tier. I was really hoping for like a nightmare battle like Dino Thunder did, or, you know, a Freddy Krueger parody, but no. The Rangers are knocked out, they like sniff these magic flowers, they pass out, and they go into a dream world where they fight a bunch of non-use Sentai monsters. They fight these powerful monsters, they can't escape them, and the Rangers will eventually die of exhaustion in their dreams, where if you die in your dreams, you die in real life. And as you can see, Karone and Maya end up in there. Kai and Damon also end up in there because they stupidly sniffed the flowers. All the Rangers work together to fight the dream demons, and of course come out on top. Another Power Rangers cliched trope episode, the Dream episode, though this one was pretty decent. Yeah, it's decent. I do think it could have been improved in some areas. Really wish we got to know a little more about the Rangers. Like, looking into their dreams is often an excuse to look into their mind, but It's a decent little episode. It did make my honorable mentions. I do like the concept, of course, because I'm an Elm Street fan, but this one, definitely Ranger Radical, has its fun moments. They, of course, break the dream spell, kick ass, and Hexaba was a much more interesting villain than Captain Mutiny. So Poppy's Farm from The Wizard of Oz, yep. Well, I'm gonna begin watching every Power Rangers episode. Do it, Shadow, do it. Yeah, definitely a good episode. Okay, so Dream Battle, definitely a serviceable one. I would recommend it, honestly. It's dumb fun, but definitely outclassed by these superior top dogs. Speaking of which, let's get to Hexaba's Graveyard. Yeah, I remember this one. This one has the Rangers fight every dead monster ever. Hexaba has another scheme to kill the Rangers by conjuring up a Monster Reborn spell to revive every dead monster who's appeared in Lost Galaxy. The Rangers fight a lot of their former monsters, even Trecheron shows up at one point, and basically they're going to get overwhelmed by respawning enemies until they die of exhaustion. Hexaba is conjuring up all these bad guys, sending them to Terra Venture, and basically it's a big-ass action adventure where they fight a whole bunch of past monsters, shows you how far the Rangers have come in terms of their combat skills, slay a bunch of familiar faces, and Magna Defender finally gets his final duel against Trecheron. But, believe it or not, at the end of the day, the hero is Kai. Yeah, Kai saves the day. The Blue Ranger tracks down where the monsters are coming from, and he takes on Hexaba himself in a final one-on-one epic showdown. And yep, this one also going on Galactic. I will put it above Kendrix's episode. You know what, I might also put above Enter the Lost Galaxy. Yeah, this one, definitely a fun one. I do like bringing back all their former monsters, having basically what feels like a final farewell episode to all the action the Rangers underwent, having them show you how far they've come with their combat skills, their new weapons, and overcoming monsters that were once a challenge to them. And Kai saving the day is just icing on the cake. Really loved Kai showing initiative, taking a chance, and showing that he was a fully capable Blue Ranger. I need inspiration for Paladin Knights. It's currently the only series I feel like writing. Definitely good one. And yet another cliche trope episode for Power Rangers. Them fighting the past monsters episode. Again, decent one. Yeah, definitely a decent one. I like this episode mostly because Kai became my favorite Blue Ranger by this point, and seeing him solo fight Hexaba was definitely so awesome. Kai destroys Hexaba's Monster Reborn cauldron, kills her and destroys her graveyard, and actually saves the day on his own. Kai was definitely the highlight of this one. Respawning enemies, hell, that's just another Saturday night of beating up thugs in Batman Arkham Saga, till you can't no more. Yeah, as cliche as it became seeing the Rangers fight armies of their old enemies, this one was definitely a fun one. I'll put it on Galactic, definitely lower than the Magna Defender, but still pretty fun. Almost there. We're on Raise the Titanosaur, the final epic Megazord battle. So, the Rangers finally take the battle to Captain Mutiny, and they have to take out his pet, the Titanosaur. Leading to, what else? The final episode of the epic Megazord duels. Not really though, because we had two more that had the Megazords at their awesomest, but this one, honestly pretty cool. I'm gonna put this one onto Ranger Radical. No, I did kind of like Karon's episode a bit more. Oh, and I did like Captain Mutiny's debut. Alright, so the Rangers fight the Titanosaur. The Titanosaur is this giant Godzilla-sized sea monster who serves as Captain Mutiny's right-hand attack dog. They have their big epic Megazord duel against it, and it's all about the giant monster fights. That's basically why it's on A tier. Definitely cool stuff. If you like your Megazord action, this episode is totally for you. I am kind of more impressed by their story-heavy episodes, but as a final farewell to the Galactic Megazords having this big epic fight against a even more huge unstoppable monster, it is definitely dumb fun. Yeah, basically, that's kind of all that happens. A big giant kaiju fight. They kill the Titanosaur, and Captain Mutiny is down a few power levels up until the final episode, but it was a huge crippling blow to Captain Mutiny's army. The Titanosaur fight itself is pretty epic. I would recommend it. Going on A tier. Yeah, well, no one can beat Soundwave from Helluva Boss. Soundwave. Alright, finally made it to the end of the Captain Mutiny arc, and it's the penultimate episode before the 3-part finale. What was it called again? Escape the Lost Galaxy. Yeah, how could I forget? Escape the Lost Galaxy, which coincidentally is also the last Mike episode. Yep, it's the last time with our beloved Magna Defender, Mike. The Rangers are trying to escape the Lost Galaxy, and they think they found a way, but the Rangers can't leave behind Captain Mutiny's slaves. The Rangers want to do the right thing and rescue all the innocent people imprisoned by Captain Mutiny. Mike goes undercover because they can't recognize him, where he pretends to be a slave. Mike, I believe, has a romance with this slave girl. He protected her grandfather, or regular father, some guy who's related to her. This old guy was getting abused by Captain Mutiny's minions, and Mike intervenes, saves him, shows that he's a good guy, and Mike slowly earns the trust of this slave girl. I strongly think they were supposed to become a couple by the end, but yeah, the slave girl falls in love with Mike, they work together, they free the slaves, and it leads to Mike's ultimate final battle as the Magna Defender. Don't worry, Mike doesn't die, but unfortunately this is where he loses the powers. Mike and Torozord free the slaves. Mike gets a big epic battle defeating one of Captain Mutiny's minions. He scares Captain Mutiny away. He has Torozord heroically sacrifice himself to keep the portal open. TerraVenture manages to open up a portal to escape the Lost Galaxy. However, the Rangers go back for the slaves, use Astro Megaship to save a bunch of innocent people. Mike almost gets left behind, but is saved by his brother. The two bros work together, and Torozord tragically dies here. Yep, it's the last with the Megazord. Torozord, as you can see, holding open the portal here to allow TerraVenture and Astro Megaship to escape. The slaves are all saved, but unfortunately at the cost of the Magna Defender's powers. Mike's Morpher gets destroyed in the battle, and Torozord dies, going out in a blaze of glory like his master, where Magna Defender's Force Ghost shows up and thanks Mike for all he's done. Now he gets to rest. And, yep, this episode also going on Galactic. The Magna Defender was so OP, the show had to get rid of his powers. This is the episode where my waifu goes into the chrysalis cocoon and becomes her final form. No, not yet. That doesn't happen yet. We're counting Journey's End as one whole final part. Mike was the highlight of this one, ending up being the one helping the slaves and using all his powers in order for everyone to finally escape the Lost Galaxy. Yeah, definitely. Mike was the MVP in this one, and honestly, this is kind of why I put him onto S tier. Mike sacrifice the powers of the Magna Defender to save billions of innocent people. If that doesn't scream great Ranger hero, I don't know what will. R.I.P. Torozord, but yeah, the Magna Defender was so awesome that the show had to get rid of him. Still, Magna Defender went out a legend. Escape the Lost Galaxy is an underrated episode too. I'm putting it onto S tier. Oh, and what makes it even better, Captain Mutiny dies. Captain Mutiny nearly escapes the Lost Galaxy with them, then his sandcastle is punk killed by Trakina. Kinda sucks, I wanted Captain Mutiny to go out in a big epic fight at least, but no, he gets the Furio treatment. Trakina comes in and kills the entire sandcastle, killing Captain Mutiny, so she can be the main villain. Nobody conquers this galaxy but me. Though how he lived while drifting in space is something I question, but a happy ending. Yeah, Power Rangers has a lot of characters who go up in space and don't need oxygen. Also, the ending has Mutiny die by the better villain, Trakina. Yep. There's only room for one ruler, and that's me. Yeah, Trakina, epic badass, kills Captain Mutiny, and that's kind of the abrupt end to the character, but it's okay because we're on the series finale. But anyways, yeah, Escape the Lost Galaxy, also a masterpiece going on Galactic. But let's finally end this on the high note of all high notes, Journey's End. Yeah, I don't need to remember the title for this one. Finally made it to the series finale, all 3 parts combined under one, Journey's End, and yep, going on Dead Bug. No, of course not. Yes, this one's going on to Galactic, because of course it is. Not as good to the 10th power, I will fight you on that, but Journey's End, epic finale, a 3-part series finale for Lost Galaxy. Trakina launches her final attack against Terra Venture, and the Rangers are put through the absolute ringer in this 3-parter. This finale was devastating, emotional, action-packed, and so satisfying. So if you don't recall, Deviat miraculously survived the destruction of Captain Mutiny's castle, tried to weasel his way back into Trakina, only to be exposed as a traitor. Trakina is not buying it anymore, she's well aware of him. Deviat tries to take the cocoon, only to end up in a struggle with Trakina where they both accidentally fall into the cocoon and morph into one. Yeah, it's still kind of weird and confusing to this very day. Trakina and Deviat become one. She's now part cyborg, and Amy Miller has the reverb in her voice from being mechanical. She becomes full-blown monstrous. Trakina is at her most evil in this finale. Trakina launches a full-scale attack against Terra Venture. So many epic fights, so many epic scenes, so many iconic moments. They're all cool, they're all intense. Trakina tries running over Damon with her Scorpion Stinger ship. The ship gets destroyed, Terra Venture is knocked out of the sky, crash lands onto a small moon. Terra Venture finally finds its planet, but before it can make a safe landing, they instead get a crash landing thanks to Trakina. Trakina is full-blown psychotic evil warlord here, much more eviler than her dad ever was. It's still kind of confusing as to who's in control. There are 2 camps who believe either Deviat is influencing Trakina, or Trakina is still herself, but Deviat's persona brought out the worst in her. It's still kind of debated amongst fans to this day. I do believe a fraction of Deviat's soul is connected to Trakina at this point, and that's why she's acting more monstrous than usual. But yeah, Trakina and Deviat become the ultimate killer life form, start destroying stuff. The invasion of Terra Venture is still so awesome. I love bringing up this part. Suicide Bomber Stingwingers. I would never thought I would see the day, but Power Rangers had the minions become suicide bombers, blowing themselves up across an innocent city to kill as many people as possible. That is crazy. Yeah, Trakina pretty much loses everything. Her ship is destroyed. Her Stingwingers are all killed either by the Rangers or the suicide bombing. The city of Terra Venture completely wrecked. It is gone. The city is a total war zone, and the dome that gives them oxygen is slowly cracking, which will kill them all. Even though we've seen people survive breathing in space on this series, but whatever. Trakina pretty much lays waste to the city, and how can we forget Villamax actually has his redemption arc here? So, Villamax has always been one of the more honorable characters. Even though he's evil, he does have a certain code of morals he does follow. He does not believe in harming innocent civilians. Villamax actually saves a little girl, helps her find her mom. The little girl gives him a flower, and Villamax realizes there is no honor in this victory. Trakina is pretty much wasting her soldiers. She has no army to even lead. What is there left to conquer? There's nothing but ashes. And Trakina's not even killing the Power Rangers anymore. Now it's just about killing all of humanity on this ship. Makes you wonder what would have happened if Trakina hadn't fused with Deviat. Yeah, would she be as insane? I do believe she still would have been a threat, but she probably wouldn't have lost the Stingwingers or Villamax. And yeah, this is kind of why I think Deviat's mind is still a little in there, because Villamax refuses to gun down fleeing civilians, forcing Trakina to kill him, and I think this part is Deviat. I think Deviat is the one influencing Trakina here to kill Villamax, because Deviat has honestly kind of had it out for Villamax ever since they first met. I think Deviat is forcing Trakina to kill Villamax and is the one taunting his honor and reason, and that's why Trakina is acting so smug and arrogant here. But yeah, Trakina ends up killing Villamax. It seems you've taught me too well. You've learned nothing. And Villamax dies, but thankfully his death was not in vain. Villamax bought time for the Power Rangers to show up and get that very sad scene. Yeah, as if it wasn't bad enough Villamax dies, we also lose Astro Megaship. Yeah, it still saddens me. The Space Ranger base dies. They have a collision crash with the Scorpion Stinger, knock Trakina out of the sky, bringing her down, saving all the innocent civilians. Villamax is gone. Kegler also apparently died off screen. Have a lot of people asking what happened to him, because if Trakina survived that crash, shouldn't he have? Apparently the producers confirmed that no, Kegler died in the crash. He was the one driving the ship when it was knocked out. Kegler just disappears. Yeah, I think Kegler, according to the producers, they say Kegler died in the crash. But yeah, the Scorpion Stinger knocked out of the sky. Trakina is still alive, miraculously. She has, like, broken bones, is all completely bruised, and PG bloodied. Yeah, again, kid show, guys. The Rangers saved Terra Venture but lost everything. Astro Megaship is destroyed. Alpha 5 is almost killed. They end up saving him. They lose, like, a lot of their toys. A lot of damage. But Trakina survives and finally enters the cocoon. Boy, remember when this was introduced back in episode 17? Journey's End. Man, was this an epic finale. Pretty much as epic as Countdown to Destruction and The End of Time were. Absolutely. What a great send-off. I love this finale. This was a perfect finale to a good Power Ranger series. Absolutely. Really enjoy it. She became Cyber Trakina in her ultimate form. Great fight between her and the Red Ranger too. Yep, in the finale. Trakina gets into the cocoon and turns into her sexy insect form. She kind of looks like Syl from Species. Gets like this really skin-tight alien skin. Has the full praying mantis head. Trakina becomes Green Trakina. Creative name, guys. But yeah, she becomes Green Trakina and decides to kamikaze Terra Venture. The innocent civilians land on the planet. Trakina converts the remains of their ship into her own attack UFO and is going to literally die crashing on them to take everyone out. Trakina is completely insane and unhinged here. Leo finally takes on Trakina in a one-on-one fight. The other Rangers make it just in time. Trakina has a really long and epic fight scene, destroys like all their toys, they lose their arsenal, lose a lot of their weapons. The Lights of Orion aren't even enough here. But it leads to that epic moment where Leo decides to do what the Magna Defender did and sacrifice himself. He gets his Battleizer armor, lures in Trakina, traps her, and has a point-blank Quadro Blaster shot which blows them both up. And Trakina finally dies, and just when you think Leo's gonna die too, nope, here he is giving the anime thumbs up. Yeah, perfect image, right? We see Leo, and I do love whenever the Ranger armor gets damaged and you see their faces. Obviously not as good as Time Force, but I do like the one exposed eye here. Leo survived, and he helps save the day, and the Galactabeasts end up derailing the crash landing. They save the remnants of Terra Venture and save all the civilians. Bulk and Professor Phenomena make one last cameo, running in terror. But yeah, the Rangers save the day. Then we get our twist ending. The planet they colonized is Miranoi. They made it back to Maya's home planet, and Maya realizes this is the end of their journey. They defeated the ultimate evil in the Lost Galaxy, so now they must return the power. And the Rangers don't exactly lose the power, but they do give it up, leaving the door wide open for any future events with them. They return the Quasar Sabers back to the stone and depower, and doing so frees Miranoi. Miranoi is finally unfrozen from being stone statues. They welcome the Rangers, and I presume the colonists with open arms are now living together. But yeah, Maya saves her people, fulfills her destiny, and Kendrix is alive. Yeah, this is the reason why it's not number one. It is never, and I mean never, explained how the heck Kendrix came back. Yeah, Kendrix came back to life somehow with no explanation and hugs her friends, the Rangers. I was kind of hoping she would kiss Leo, but no, we settle for a friendship moment with Maya. Kendrix is back and she thanks Karone, and the Galactabeasts celebrate with some fireworks. The Terraventure humans and the Miranoi people are now living together, and the galaxy is a safe place at last. You know, until next Power Ranger series, but yeah, that's the end of the Lost Galaxy saga, and yep, it's epic. Wasn't really any doubt, this made my top 10, easily one of the best finales ever. I would put it up there next to Countdown to Destruction and The End of Time. This definitely great, really kick-ass, really dark, very dead serious at times, and of course all that epic Ranger action, everyone's story comes full circle, and we end on a very satisfying happy ending. Which leaves lots of questions with Megaforce and that final fight of how they got the power back. Okay, so I do like their reasons behind them giving up the power. The Rangers give up their Quasar blades, but it's obvious they're not done as Power Rangers. They purposefully leave the door wide open for, of course, future crossover events. The Galaxy Rangers return their blades, but they can easily get them back, and we see Leo and the gang easily get the swords from the stone again, pretty much opening the door for any future crossovers with the Galaxy cast. Honestly, I think it makes more sense than them losing the power, because that was always kind of a confusing plot hole when we would have Rangers who came back for crossovers, yet even though in their show the powers are gone and destroyed. It's like, how do you get the powers back if they're gone? You know, Turbo powers being destroyed, the Mighty Morphin coins were destroyed, yet they still came back in their OG outfits. Here, no, they just kind of retire as Rangers. They can easily get the Blades and Morphers back at any time, which I do think makes a lot more sense. Yeah, the final fight against Ultra Trakeena was epic. Really epic. Do you think this show was ever gonna be topped by another Power Ranger series? Time Force definitely is a close contender, and RPM I have started to really like. Yeah, sorry guys, I do not like Ziggy. He's not my favorite Ranger. But yeah, I think people would argue RPM is definitely better than this show, and Time Force too. Time Force was really great, but Lost Galaxy definitely wins a lot more points from me. Kegler just disappears. A lot of depressing losses. Stratoforce and Centaurus destroyed. Yeah, 2 of the Megazords died. Astro Megaship destroyed. That one really hurt, especially as an In-Space fan. But worst of all, the death of Villamax, Professor Farnsworth. No! Yeah, Villamax's death hit me the hardest because he went through so much character growth. In all seriousness, all the losses above were very sad. Yeah, this one also raised the bar for Power Ranger finales. End of Time barely beat this finale for me, but Journey's End is still a classic. It is galactic awesome. Yeah, some people might argue Time Force or RPM are the closest to being better than Lost Galaxy. I mean, unless you're a diehard In-Space fan, but if we're counting shows that came after it, yeah. Now, if she's mixed with Deviant, does that make her like Dren from Splice or Yubel from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX? Does this make her a somewhat Futanari? Which leaves lots of questions with Megaforce. I read that one. Also, don't worry, Astro Megaship would get a Mark II come the Wild Force crossover. Sigh, yeah, reviving Kendrix was definitely a cop-out. Yes, it's nice to see her again, but still a cop-out. Yeah, I think they should have stuck to having Kendrix dead. I know we all love Valerie Vernon because she's also very likable, and Kendrix was super endearing, but they should have stuck to their guns, have her dead, and keep their status as the first Ranger show to actually kill off the character. But no, she came back, and Kendrix is the one who returns in Trakeena's revenge. Don't worry, Megaforce would ignore her. Like I said in a previous video, I think it was because returning the Quasar Sabers undid Kendrix's death, because she used the pink Quasar Saber when she died. That does kind of make sense, but then I believe a later Netflix show made this more confusing that, oh, Kendrix didn't really die, she was a part of the morphing grid. Still never explained what that means, but yeah, a later show kind of made it worse. How can you not like Ziggy? I like Ziggy in some moments, but his attempts at humor started to get on my nerves. Do you think this lost media for this show? I do believe so. They did mention they had alternate plans. Allegedly, there was going to be an episode filmed with Cassie being the new Pink Galaxy Ranger. It was confirmed that they never started filming this because, they had a falling out with Cassie's actress. Yeah. Sorry, someone tried to call me. Well, this was a fun tier list, Cat. Nice tier list. Looking forward to the next one. Till next time, Cat. Bye for now. See you, Chris. But yeah, Journey's End, Galactic Awesome. Of course it is. Going up here on second place, only behind To the 10th Power. But we did it. We completed our tier list. Sorry, just gotta grab my charger. Alright, for Lost Media, I do believe there was a script penned for Cassie becoming the new Galaxy Pink Ranger, but they never filmed it because the actress had a falling out with them. But we did it, folks. We completed this tier list, and only one really bad episode, but man, oh man, a lot of galactic masterpieces. Don't worry, I won't go over them all this time because I think I've did that enough. If you want to see me word my thoughts better on some episodes, check out my top 10. But yeah, all the top 10 are up here in their rightful place as they should be because there were a lot of good ones. But yeah, honestly, very few bad episodes. That kind of surprises me. Yeah, the clip show, obvious one. I did not like Homesick, sorry, but the little boy arc drove me up a wall. But only one really bad episode, A Red Romance. Easy skip, guys. Don't even bother watching it. It is a complete waste of time, and nothing hugely story-heavy happens in this one. It is just a very out-of-character Leo episode. Yeah, easily the one bad one. Only two meh ones. That one does kind of surprise me, but yeah, a lot more in A, and as you can see, a lot of masterpieces here. Best episode in the series, To the 10th Power. Was there really any doubt? That one is one of the greatest crossover events of all time, and sorry, Ranger fans, it has not been outclassed to me. It is great. But if we're counting Lost Galaxy Solo, Journey's End easily was a kick-ass finale too. Really like it. Has some of the biggest and most epic cinema in Power Rangers history. Really cool, really kick-ass. If you want to count Lost Galaxy alone, then yeah, the finale definitely top dog. But as a whole, I do like the crossover a bit more. Alright, looks like everyone's signing off. Don't worry, I won't go over all the episodes this time because I know you guys are probably getting tired of seeing me talk about Lost Galaxy. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of good shows. A lot more epic masterpieces than bad. Yeah, a lot more in S tier, some in A tier, and only a few that are really dud episodes. Not bad, did not care for the Homesick one, and really hate A Red Romance. That is the worst one of the series, skip it. But yeah, my top 10, still in their place. Still love that. Check out that video if you haven't already. But yeah, Lost Galaxy was an epic show, and to this day, as you can see, has a lot of good than bad. Highly recommend it. It is a Power Rangers masterpiece. Alright, so for those of you who stuck around to the end, what will be our next project? Well, I do want to do something surprising for the weekend. I'm thinking about doing another ranking on a past franchise we already did, but this time I get to chat with you guys and possibly Wolf if he's on board. Don't want to spoil it, but I might have a surprise this weekend. Video-wise, I'm working on a Tales from the Dark Side episode. Yeah, sorry my R.L. Stine fans, we are taking a slight detour. I want to do this Dark Side episode first before getting back into the realm of good ol' R.L. I do have a Goosebumps video available on Patreon, check it out. I did a top 10 follow-up after our Haunting Hour episodes. Yep, Haunting Hour videos are back. Might see more in the future, but I know you guys want to see Goosebumps finish soon, but for now I'm gonna do a Dark Side episode, tier list, possibly another horror film franchise we're gonna revisit. Might do that this weekend, but we'll see how things play out. But yeah, those are what's coming in the future. I believe Wolf is also working on an episode right now. Wolf is doing one of the lesser episodes from one of our other horror franchises, but those are all the teases you're gonna get. Surprising you're gonna bring a woman on stream? Yeah, maybe next time. Well, next time, may the power protect you. Bye, Shadowlink. Alright, so yeah, those are the only teases you'll get. Thank you all for joining me on these tier lists. I'm glad you guys like them. I'm definitely having fun doing them. And Lost Galaxy is a masterpiece, if you didn't get that picture already. Yeah, check out all these S-tier masterpieces. But alright, I get the idea. Let's finally wrap this up and I'll set you guys free. Remember to like, comment, share, or subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I'll see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Wolf.
Had to get in there somehow.